Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back. It's episode 6 or so, I believe.
Yeah, 6 or so.
6 or so. We're here with Richard Brooks. He's a rising star on the fighting scene.
Sir.
Rich, tell us about yourself, man. What have you been up to? We'll talk about this after.
Okay.
This comes with the territory of the
Yes,
rising
sir.
stardom.
There's a
Yes,
story
sir.
behind it. And
Yes, sir.
it's exciting.
Well, first I want to say thank you guys for having me on. It's pretty dope to, come on the platform and just, talk about my life.
It's our
I'm glad
pleasure.
you guys care about that.
Absolutely.
And secondly, I'm from South Central LA. Born and raised out here. Initially, I was a basketball player growing up. Obviously with my stature, that wasn't really like in the cards for me to do. You feel me?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't continue.
Yeah.
Spud Webb was sure
you
to
feel
be
me,
you.
right? Yeah. I would have been wishing on a star doing that. So, like I said, I kind of talked with you off camera about this before, and also you, growing up in South LA, gang violence and drugs, stuff like that. I always was kind of like, I wouldn't say get into too like trouble, but I would say like kind of having to defend myself in a way.
Right.
So fighting was never something that I wasn't familiar with. It kind of came as like something that was like second nature for me. Growing up, being in like gang wars because who my family is and where they from or affiliated with. So stuff like that always kind of like happened for me. But I was trying to play basketball.
So real quick, did you have to warm up to it? Like, do you remember like in the early days, was it like, was it scary? Or was it kind of just like, oh, okay, like da 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 da, and it was just like a more of, easier?
Yeah.
I've never been in outside of a bar that I was doing security in
Yes, sir.
or a wrestling room. I've never actually been in a street fight.
Yes, sir.
In the bars, they might have looked like street fights, but never like a after school, like after high school,
sir.
3 o'clock high, like me and you were gonna fight.
Yes, sir.
That's never happened. So I'm always curious, especially with fighters and people that take it to the next level, like being
Yes, sir.
trained.
Yes, sir.
Because most of them have a background of like
Absolutely.
fighting and there's something
Yeah.
they're comfortable with.
Yes, sir.
And I was always wanting to ask somebody, what is it? Something? Are you comfortable with it, or how is that?
I would say I'm more comfortable now because when most street fights you get into, you don't know what could happen.
Chaos.
So growing up, especially in gang wars, that's automatic violence and it can lead to death sometimes. So growing up, it was more so me just having to defend myself and like letting everybody know I'm not a pushover type guy.
Right.
So that's like the biggest thing growing up in type of environments like that. You don't want to be labeled as like a pushover type guy. You affiliation. That's like a big thing in LA culture. It's like gang affiliation. So no matter if you say like, oh, whether I gangbang or not, like literally, your family, they know where your family's from, the block you live on, that's always gonna be like a stigma you have.
Right.
Unless you just move away completely. So, growing up, I was also, of course I would be nervous because I'm like, man, this is crazy, but it was more so like, I can't let that be shown, you feel me? So I feel like that kind of like helped me transition that into like more controlled environments where I know like, well, we're not gonna kill each other after this. We could just fight and just go home and come back a couple of days later and just do it all over again,
100%.
Yes, sir.
Not only after this, but during this.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, God forbid some accidents and stuff.
Absolutely.
But that's also like, it can be controlled because there is
Absolutely,
medical staff and all that stuff.
Coaches, watching.
Yeah,
teammates
everybody's
watching.
involved
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
fights
Yeah,
one
yeah,
way
yeah.
or another. Besides, the two parties and a bunch of people that are cheering or you killing each other.
Absolutely.
Like
Yes, sir.
like it would be a school backyard. What was I gonna say? Tell me about this, man. What happened?
sir.
You had surgery on both arms.
Yes, sir.
This one is done already, and
Yes, sir.
healing up. What happened?
I didn't even
what
know
happened
that.
with them?
So, as you guys know, I started doing a bare knuckle the beginning of this year. They reached out to me. I ended up signing my contract in March, so it was like late March.
They reached out to you.
They reached out to me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they invited me to like a private workout tryout type thing / tryout. So when I got there, I'm just giving you like the origin story of leading up to this. So
I was going to ask you that anyway. Next question. But
Yes, sir.
I think I saw some of the footage
Yeah.
that they spliced into the show, one of the shows.
Yes, exactly.
And I was like looking for you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was it like a tournament type thing?
It was more just like a day where like they invited a lot of guys that they directly reached out to, and they was like, okay, come here on this day. We're gonna see what you guys made of. We're gonna see if you can either sell fights or you really have the skill to either and you have the toughness to be in the bare knuckle.
So it was like a
sport.
workout?
It was like a workout / tryout. Yeah. Well, it was a workout at first to see. Obviously you got to get the guys that's not in shape out of there quick.
Right.
So it was a workout initially, and then it was like, okay, well I was down to the last 13 guys.
Out of how many again?
It was 70.
Wow.
Yeah, they invited 60, but 10 more came, so it was 70. Yeah,
They just walked in.
they just walked in. You know,
Just
like
crashed that party.
You know, I tell you, I'm like, hey, I got invited to bare knuckle try. I'm gonna go with you.
People
Like,
brought
you
their
know,
cousins and stuff.
exactly. So
I respect that hustle.
Yeah, so like,
That's cool.
yeah. So look, so back to your initial question. I finished the workout. They chopped us down from 70 to 13. I was in that 13. They put me on like the episode. It was like a Los Angeles trial episode. They put me on that. The contract was signed in March. I had my first fight April 27 with them. Didn't go so well. No excuses. If you've seen it, you know what happened.
Well, let me tell you, because you're way too modest. Yeah, let me.
Because there's a couple things about that fight.
Let me just tell, because I feel you're not gonna want to say anything because you say no excuses, and usually people that start saying those things, they don't want to.
Well, I appreciate that.
I watched the fight, and
the
guy had 20 MMA fights or so
The
under his
dude had
belt.
20-some MMA fights, and he looked to be
Slightly bigger.
Slightly bigger. He looked like he was a weight class.
Yeah, he missed weight by 7 pounds.
Yeah.
He looked huge.
Now, how do you do the weigh-ins? Because that's not. Did he fuck up his weigh-in, or was it?
He did it on purpose. It was like a strategy. So he came in. We did the weigh-ins the day before. So it was me and Kevin there. I don't know. You guys know Kevin. Yeah. So
Kevin,
we went. So I came in at 153. The contracted weight. We signed contracts. It's a pro bare knuckle fight. I came in at 153.8. He came in at 158.
Okay.
You feel me? We were supposed to be at 155.
Yeah.
So they was like, whoa, hold on, like, this is kind of crazy. So he goes outside and starts running down the street.
Trying
to make weight. Still didn't make the weight. So then the next day we got there, he came back at least 170, 171.
Rumor has it he's still running.
Exactly.
He's still getting hit.
Eating protein bars.
So you feel me? So like even like us, like I was like, you know what? They even told me like, you don't have to take the fight. You could just take the money. And I'm like, I did all this. I'm gonna take the fight.
I didn't know he. I just thought he was.
So what happens with him?
Well, they fined him.
They fined him.
Yeah, they fined him. They gave it to me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Like on a pro level, when it's like a contracted weight, you get fined for missing weight. So like it was a 20% fine. They gave it to me.
I didn't even know that until right now. I just thought that because he was so much bigger.
He was huge. Yeah, he was huge.
Because of his 20 MMA fights, I thought that he was he just sucked all the weight down.
He had 29 fights altogether and 20 MMA pro fights.
See, that's crazy.
Sorry about that.
That's crazy.
So when did you guys weigh in? The day before?
It was the day before. Yes, sir.
So he had, on top of being overweight,
and we weighed at 11 a.m. So imagine
you were underweight. He was.
So he had like a day and a half to gain.
Oh yeah, we fought at like around 6 p.m. the next day. So just imagine.
Fighter, he'll gain another 12 pounds at least.
Easy.
Absolutely.
Easy, yeah. It seems like someone
depending
walking
upon
around
where
at
he came from, because like Pereira and those fools, they'll gain 20 plus pounds.
He's coming at 185. He's going in the ring 200 pounds. So it's like especially if you like a naturally bigger guy, that's always gonna play a factor. But like I said no excuses because it's like when you sign up to fight, you know what you sign up for,
100%.
regardless. So you got to still go out there and try your best to just do what you
Yeah, but
do.
It was kind of very obvious.
Yeah, it was very obvious. It was very obvious.
It was no excuses for you or him for that matter.
Yeah.
But it was very obvious when I first saw it. I didn't. I knew the outcome of the fight because I was working when that happened. I knew the outcome of the fight because I saw your post on Instagram. But I went home and I turned the TV on and I found the fight and I'm like, it doesn't seem right. The first thing I thought was like, when you square up, that doesn't seem right.
I thought my eyes were fooling me. I was like, man, how are they the same weight?
Yeah,
because here's the
it
thing,
makes me feel better now.
When you weigh in, when you square up on the weigh-ins, even if he outweighs you by 5 pounds or 4 pounds,
it's a big discrepancy.
It's a big difference, but it doesn't look like a big difference.
Like that looked.
Yeah.
When you stand in the middle when there's no one else around.
Yes, sir.
And then,
even on the weigh-in picture, because they got me on Google. Like if you Google like Richard Brooks BKFC, you'll see us like flexing for the camera, and he's like giant. He's like giant. He's like if you later you can look at you'll be like okay. But like you were saying, leading up to the outcome happened, whatever that fight. We get to July 12th. I said, you know what? I take that to the chin. I'm gonna go back in it.
Okay, real quick before we move on, real quick. The one thing I talked to Pete about this.
Yes, sir.
And also, I called my dad and I told him about the fight.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, the one thing that I was impressed with, and this is before that I knew about how much weight he was over. I still thought he'd cut it. But I was most proud because I was like, this guy, you could tell he felt comfortable in the ring with the 20 some odd 30 pro fights. And then the weight, There was, you were just fighting and fighting, and there was a point where something happened, and then there was a break in the action.
Oh, man.
And you had a chance to stop the fight, and you won it.
I did, yeah.
And I remember I was just like,
twice to stop. Yeah.
Right. And I was so anxious, and you were just like, nah, let's keep doing this.
What was the occasion? Why? I remember seeing it, but I can't remember
so
why.
The first round, I started off pretty well. Even he said it as well after like post fight. So I kind of connected. I would say like 6 times the first round. I got overzealous towards the end of the round. It was like 12 seconds left because I remember so vividly how it happened. So I rushed in. My first bare knuckle fight. Come from Muay Thai background, obviously. A little different rules. Can't really block with the gloves, stuff like that. First bare knuckle fight, first boxing fight ever. And I go straight to bare knuckle pro. So I rushed in. He clipped me. Boom. Oh, I get up. I'm like, I'm fine. Even when I got to the corner, Pete like, you good? He like, oh, he knows me so well. So he like, oh, you good? He was like, Richard, just don't rush in like that. I'm like, you right. I go back out there. I'm being more smart this time. Second round. First 15, 16 seconds of the round, I get against the ropes. I clip him. Boom, bam. The second time I clip him, he immediately overhooks me. You guys, jiu-jitsu guys, you know about that. Overhooks me. Underhooks me. Put his forearm in my neck. Leg behind my leg. Both my legs slam me. Boom, I go out for 5 seconds.
Whoa.
I went out. Even a cameraman was like taking pictures of the fight. He seen me go out. He was like, bro, I seen you was out. Like, I clinched up and everything.
Oh, wow.
So, Chris Lieben reffing, right?
Yeah.
No disrespect to Chris Lieben, but he seen it happen. He kind of was like, Brooks, you got to get up. Everything went black. So my ears started ringing. I'm like, oh, I never been knocked out. I never even been dropped in a fight. I'm pretty sure you guys know that. Like my Muay Thai fight, never even touched the canvas. So I'm on the ground. I'm like, oh. I get up. I'm like, fuck. Like, I'm trying to, gather myself. I finally get up. He like, Rich, are you good? I'm like, ref. I'm like, come on, ref. Like, give me some time at least. Like, that was crazy. Like, he just slammed me. Like, you feel me? Everybody start booing in the crowd. And with the bare knuckle, they have a microphone coming from like the top of the ring, so everything is enhanced. So they booing like, what was that? Like, he just slammed the guy. Like, you feel me? So I get up, like I said, but it's no excuse. I get up. I said, no, I'm not gonna quit. They like, you good? I'm like, I'm good. At this point, I'm fighting off all heart. I couldn't even see his punches coming no more.
Wow.
Then he hits me again. I fall down. I get back up again. I was just like, you know what? I ain't gonna let this guy just knock me out cold. I'm already out of it. I get the little cut. I'm like, yeah, you got it. But it was never a reason of me like feeling like, oh, I wasn't able to like fight on that level, or I feel like I wasn't ready. It was just more so like an unfortunate circumstance happened.
Sure.
And I kind of just fought through it, you feel me?
I could tell in your face, and this is what I told Pete, because they showed him for a quick second, but I was like, even though you had the opportunity, I could tell, not that you were overwhelmed, but you were just compromised.
Yeah.
You had an opportunity to stop, but you didn't.
Yeah. I fought for like another minute after that.
That was palpable. I could just see it, and I just appreciate it, because I was like, damn, this is a totally different sport. His first time. I'm like, this is crazy. He's definitely compromised against this monster.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And he could get out of it, and it would be okay. It would be justified. But the fighter spirit fought through, and it was just something that, for me, because I knew you a little bit,
yes, sir.
I was super proud, and it was one of those things that it was for sure inspiring.
I appreciate that, yes, sir. Appreciate that.
Tell me about the hands, man.
Yes, sir. So immediately after we talk, I'm gonna go in the back. Like I said, it's April 27th this year.
Yeah.
We talking about it. I come back to the gym probably like 20 days later. I come back in the gym. I'm like, you know what? I gotta get that back. I don't like how that went. I was 6-0 in Muay Thai. So I feel like I'd had knockouts Muay Thai, 3 knockouts in a row Muay Thai. So I'm like, you know what? I feel like I could do this like at a high level. I don't feel like that was like a situation where I was like outclassed, or I feel like I wasn't ready for that. So when I get back to the gym, I told Pete, I'm like, you know what? They reached out to me. They said, you showed a lot of heart. They reached out to me again, even after how that went.
That
and they
tells
said,
you
yeah,
something.
exactly.
That's very cool.
And also they like my personality. They like how I went to the back. I didn't complain. I said, you know what, he got me, whatever. And they was like, oh, man, that's admirable. Like the head
very
guys
cool.
of the promotion. And, they could easily be like, oh, whatever, got another guy come in, take my spot, whatever. So I tell Pete, I'm like, well, Pete, they reached out to me again. I'm gonna just do it again. I'm gonna start training. By this time it's like early mid-May, like mid-May. Training hard. I start going to wild card boxing, training with a lot of pro boxers over there. And even these guys telling me, these guys that's been fighting since they were 17, 16. I'm 26. I started fighting at 23, and I'm over here giving these guys good rounds at Wild Card with Freddie Roach. He gifted me some gloves.
That's very cool.
You feel me? So I'm over here. I'm like, I know I can fight at a high level. I'm over here sparring these guys, and they telling me like, man, come back this day, come back this day. Like, we let you give good rounds. So I'm like, I know I can do this at a high level. They got my opponent. You know, he was a black belt. The guy I fought.
Was he?
Yeah. You know, he was a black belt.
Yeah.
Real tough guy. And I kind of knew he had a jiu-jitsu background because he paced himself the whole fight. And that's one thing I noticed about him. Even when I dropped him, you know, leading up to the fight starts, I dropped him. Even when he got up, he was like, okay, like he kind of learned from that. But you know, to backtrack a little bit, you know, we get to that fight. People was like, you want to take it? He's like, I'm gonna take it. You know, I have a close talk with him, obviously with my family, with my girl. You know, I talk about it, whatever. We get there. Pete couldn't be there. He was in Greece at the moment, so he was kind of bummed out how he couldn't corner me. And that was the first time he couldn't corner me in a fight, especially at that magnitude.
Right.
And you know, like with all the stuff that could happen until he was kind of mad he couldn't get there. So we get there. You know, I'm warming up. I was in the back warming up. I felt really good. I felt really fast, really sharp. We get in there. First round, I feel like skill wise, even the guy told me he couldn't really match up with me skill wise. First round ends. I feel like I showed like a lot of good glimpses. You seen it, right?
Of course.
Second round come, I was okay. I feel like, you know, I'm doing good. This my third round with bare knuckle. I feel like I kind of figured it out now. That's when I ended up dropping him in the second round with the drag. That's why I broke my hand. So I broke my hand as I jabbed him and dropped him. I hit him in like his orbital area. I heard it immediately. So when he falls down, I backs up. It was like a quick thought in my head was like, oh man, my hand might be broke. I was like, fuck. He gets up on the 8 count. I was like, all right, whatever. I snap back into it. You know, I keep fighting. I don't remember exactly when I messed up my thumb. I watched it over a couple of times. I was like, maybe I did it there. Maybe I did it there. But this was for sure I knew when I did it. Because it was like a straight jab and my hand flexed.
You dropped him with a jab, though?
Dropped him with a jab, like a strong jab. And I was working on that the whole month leading up to the fight.
That's impressive.
Like just a quick.
Southpaw.
Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is, I'm right-handed. I just fight southpaw. So that's kind of like
that's a strong, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my jab is a little snappier.
That's how I encourage my son to spar right-handed but southpaw because the power hand is
that jab.
Do you ever switch up or you're?
So when I got to Wild Card, obviously you know Muay Thai is a little different sport. You know, more kicks obviously. But when I got to Wild Card, the thing I noticed why I started switching so much because the way we move with Muay Thai, MMA, and Jiu-Jitsu, we do way better at keeping our distance. So when I went over there sparring like real pro boxers at 17-0, 13-0, 12-0, I learned that my distance game was kind of giving them trouble because they was like, we're not used to fighting guys that move around, keep distance, you know, slip, duck, whatever. So once I started realizing like, okay, that give people problems, I started working on switching. Then I started, you know, kind of having this my strong hand, coming over the top with it.
Was this last guy taller than you?
Cause I'm 5'9", I'm like 5'9.5". He was like 5'10". Okay. He wasn't too. He was a real wiry guy. He was long.
Okay.
So it kind of he looked kind of like tall, but we was like around the same height.
Okay.
And I was a little more muscular than him at that time.
Okay, so he was a little. Yeah,
he wasn't as like cut up as me. Like, I'm a little smaller than I haven't been working out.
Right.
But at the time I was a little more like so. But yeah, so like third round comes right after I dropped him. You know, I finished the round. I feel like I was moving pretty well. He wasn't really hitting me. And also another thing, when I walked out, the whole arena was booing me. Once they announced, from South Central LA, we was in kind of close by San Diego, so a lot of Padre fans don't get along with Dodger fans. Because at first I was like, why are these guys booing me? Like, what the hell? I'm from LA. Like,
I know, right?
Yeah, they was like, oh, boo, boo, F LA, F South Central. I'm like, okay. So when you was in the crowd, you'll probably think like, oh, maybe he's winning because I'm slipping everything. And they was like, oh. And then
how was it dealing with that? Did you feel any pressure? Or was it you were like, oh, I'm going to shut y'all up?
I was, like, when I dropped them, everybody went silent. So I wasn't really tripping about, like, I got like a strong mind.
Yeah.
So, like, stuff like that, it don't really get to me as much, you know?
Yeah.
But,
so yeah, cool.
Like, you know, I was slipping a lot of punches. They were still, like, kind of cheering at everything he did. So I'm like, oh, this is crazy. So I was like, I got to knock this dude out because I don't want to be in a situation where he go to the judges and they kind of like a hometown thing. You know, it happens in fighting. Yeah. It happens all the time, you know? And so the third round, I caught him with a couple of big shots in the third round as well. You know, I almost dropped him again in the third round. But at that moment, once the third round ended, I was like kind of gassed. So I was like, man, okay, whatever. Fourth round comes. Like
Could you still use your hands?
Oh, so by the end of the fourth round, I couldn't even feel them no more.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because I thought I heard from one of those Rocky movies, like when the hand breaks, it takes a while, but if they can hold out until it goes numb, then it's like a club. Yeah. Then you can just throw as hard as you want and you won't feel it. And I was like, that kind of sounds true-ish, but I don't know if it's a thing.
My hands did go numb, but the thing about it, they were heavy. So I'm like kind of like, and I'm trying to throw, and it just felt super heavy at the moment. So I knew I was like, so in the fourth round, and I watched it over so many times, I kind of held him the whole round because I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna quit, but I know I did enough to like get a win. I just gotta finish one more round. Fourth round, I only threw probably 4 or 5 strikes. He kind of was hitting me in the clinch a lot. Wasn't really doing too much damage. I was just kind of a little tired. Kind of my hands were broken. Compromised with that. Fifth round comes. I'm like, okay, I had the cut right here. I went to the corner. Kevin and Brett were kind of like, in the moment, they did the right thing. They was like, you know what, you're our boy. We see you cut up bleeding. You good. And I was like, you know what? Now I'm like, I know I can win this fight. Like, I've been catching this dude the whole fight. Like, I can't go out like that.
Yeah.
I get back in there the fifth round. My legs were kind of a little gone. I get back in there. I kind of landed I think 3 more significant strikes. I start kind of ducking down a lot. We had the UFC ref up in there. What was his name? What's his name? I forgot his name. He does a lot of the UFC fights. He's a really, really great ref, though. I really like how he refereed the fight. Nothing dirty happened. Every time we clinched up, wasn't no back of the head, nothing.
Was it the young guy?
I forget his name, man. I forget the ref name, but what's this guy's name? I forget his name, but he's a UFC ref. Really, really great guy, though. So I guess he kind of seen me tired. He knew something was wrong because even after they was like, man, you stopped swinging out of nowhere. You was kind of just going crazy the first 3 rounds. That fourth round came, you just stopped swinging. So by the time, like I said, the fifth round came, by a minute in, I kind of started ducking a lot. Yeah. He landed 3 unanswered shots. So as he landed those shots, by the fourth shot, I kind of swung, and he said, no way, he caught it off. And I was like, I feel like it was 59. So I'm like, I wasn't all the way done. I was still there, but like I said, he was a good ref because he's seen I was compromised, and he's been there with top guys, so I can't be like, oh, you should let me go. And it's he's been there with the top of the line guys, you feel me? So I had to respect that, you feel me? And I was like, you gotta put your pride to the side sometimes and worry about.
I can appreciate that.
You feel me? So
Even though, do you think if that didn't happen, do you think, obviously you could have held on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But do you think the judges would have gone your way?
I feel like me having a knockdown.
Because to me, it was it was so exciting because it was as much as you took, you gave initially.
Exactly.
It's scored in the same way, a 10-8?
Well, so through the first 3 rounds, they I watched the fight 30 times by this time. They showed the small tickers, the strikes. So by the end of the 3rd round, they had me out striking him in a little ticker by the end of the 3rd round. It was probably a minute left when they kind of flashed it real quick, and I was out striking him. The 4th round came, like I said, I didn't throw too many punches. But if I feel like if I won the 3 rounds,
so it is scored round per round.
Yeah, they scored round per round.
Not like ONE FC. It's scored not as a whole, but
by
the round.
They would have scored it 3-2 basically. I guess a 10-8 maybe, 10-9 maybe.
Well, I mean, if you outscore him in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, with the knockdown, and I had a knockdown.
With 2 knockdowns.
Well, okay, I had the knockdown in the 2nd round, but the 3rd round almost knocked him down. He kind of dropped and he popped back up.
Okay.
You feel me? But even when I did that, that was the only time the crowd went crazy. Because I kind of was in the corner, swung, boom, got him, and I was just but I feel like if it would have went the distance, I feel like Coach watched it, a lot of people watched it afterwards. A lot of people, reached out to me after the fight. One of the guys, his name is Andy. He's one of the guys. He's under the CEO of Bare Knuckle. So he called me. He was like, Richard, you showed a lot of heart. You showed a lot of class. We didn't even know your hands were broken until I went to the back. You didn't show no indication of that. He said, we effing love you for that.
That's
you
cool.
always got a home with us.
That's very
so
cool.
on the way back, we in Temecula. It was like an hour, 20-minute drive back. So I'm here with broken hands driving back.
Yeah.
And he called me. So, you know, I kind of lifted my spirits a little bit. Because I'm like, at least.
Was the lady holding the phone up and you were just like talking on the phone?
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of like, you know, trying to put it against my ear and driving back.
Put it on speaker.
Yeah. Luckily, Brett was driving me back. You know, so like, you know, when he called me and showed me that, and when I finally got on my phone, you know, people was reaching out to me. Because I was kind of bummed out. I'm like, damn, my hands broke, and I still didn't get the win, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, I went out there and I showed.
But didn't you get like, was it like fight of the night or?
I did get fight of the night.
Dude.
Yes, sir. The next day they gave it to me. Yes, sir.
I was proud of that. I was like, that's cool.
They gave me fight of the night. Like I said, he called me like directly. It was like 12 in the morning, 1 in the morning. He called me, and he was making sure I was good.
That's almost like it's when you get recognized like this. I think this about the UFC fighter guys. It's one of those fights where you might have not gotten the decision, but both guys kind of won because you put on such a show and you showed such heart.
Yes, sir.
That it's kind of like everybody won. Somebody got outscored, but it's like.
And for the fans that was watching, they were like, they was in the
like
comments.
I said, it was crazy.
They was in the comments like, bro, you were a dog. Like you fought with two broken hands.
The heart was beating fast in that fight. It was dramatic.
Where can people see a fight? I'll add the link.
Yes, sir. So if you type in BKFC Pachanga, it pops up immediately, and you'll see like right there. I'm like the first fight that pops up when you click on the video, and I think it got like a couple of 100,000 views so far.
Wow!
And I'm the first fight of the video, so
that's cool.
Yeah. So a lot of people, it was even in the comments like, man, that first fight was crazy. That was the best fight in our opinion, you know.
You stole the show.
Yeah.
So how has it been with the hand situation?
Yeah. So
is it as tough as how someone would imagine it to be?
Absolutely. Especially, you know, living in LA, you still gotta work, you know. You can't take too much time off trying to just be at home. So like I said, initially they popped this finger back in place here because it was like a severe dislocation. It wasn't a clean break as this one was, so it was my 4th metacarpal here. So that's right on my ring finger. So it broke in half and it was kind of protruding up through my skin.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so it was kind of bad. So initially when I got to the doctor the same night of the fight, they popped this back in place. You know, they put me in like 2 splints. And then when I went to my current doctor that did the surgery on me, he was like, you know what? Since that hand is popped back in place right now, we're going to focus on this because you got to get that fixed because if you don't, it's going to grow back and it's going to be deformed and your finger is going to be short and you really won't be able to fight. So you want to fight or not? I'm like, I still want to fight. I'm 26. I still want to fight.
Yeah.
So, you know, they kind of set up the surgery immediately. It was like the end of, the end of July. It was the end of July. I got surgery on it, so they put a plate and 6 screws in it. So I was in 2 splints for like about 14, 15 days. And then this one started feeling a little better because I was getting my range of motion back. I took the splint off, and I was just kind of like immobilize this one. And then I got the surgery. You know, it was casted up for about 4 or 5 weeks. Just got the cast off about 10 days ago. So, you know, I was getting my range of motion back.
You didn't have the double cast.
Yeah, I wasn't double cast. They give me splits first before they set up the cast. Okay. So I was in 2 splits for 15 days. Then I took one off because I'm like, you know, it's feeling better, getting my range of motion back. It wasn't broken. They popped it back in place. So I thought it was all good. Then, you know, like I said, I was just immobilized this one. You know, they did the surgery, put the plate in it, 6 screws. And then, unfortunately, this hand was feeling great. But it kind of everything happens for a reason. That's what I believe in, you know. So as I was getting it, the day before I got this, 2 days before I got this cast off, I popped my finger back out. And then when I popped it back out, they was like, oh, it won't go back in, you got to get surgery. 2 days before I got this one off. So it kind of happened, you know, they was like, you know what, it could have happened 4 months from now, and you'd have to start the whole process over. So at least you coming off this one, doing this one now. So, you know, it's kind of like on the same timeline. You can still get back in time for both of them still be,
That's
you know,
cool.
good. So, you know, I was kind of bummed out because I'm like, I just went through that with this one. You know, driving with one hand and stuff, you know, eating. I kind of went full ambidextrous with my left hand.
But the good thing is the stick is on the right when you drive, right? I mean, it's not like
exactly right.
England or something.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Count your blessings.
Yes, sir.
I drove overseas. I didn't have to though.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do this because my left arm was so
I would have a
right.
hard time doing that.
Gnarly.
I don't think I could do that.
That's
Oh
gnarly.
man, the first time I got in the car, I started. I turned the car on. First of all, the ignition is on the other side,
That's
but
so
okay, you know,
weird.
it's okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the ignition is there. You turn it on once and then you forget about it, right?
Yes,
Because
sir.
the car's running. I turn it on and I'm like, I started turning to see because the car was parked. So I was like, all right. I never driven on that side of the road.
Yeah.
Right? I turn and I hit the door.
Oh my goodness.
All right, I gotta turn the other way. I turn the other way. Nobody
Turn to hit the
behind
door
me.
is crazy, yeah.
Nobody behind me. I'm like, all right, let's reverse. I go, bam! I hit the door again.
I can see myself doing that for sure. I can definitely see myself doing
Dude, I'd
that.
call it Uber. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. What's so besides, and not right now obviously, but what other sports? You said you played basketball.
Yeah. So I was like really heavy into basketball. From,
Like Prince? Good like Prince, you think?
I never seen Prince play.
We've all heard the story
Yeah.
about Charlie Murphy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay,
Good
yeah.
tell.
Yeah, okay.
Real quick,
Yeah.
they went over Prince's house after a night of party, and Charlie Murphy, Eddie Murphy.
Oh, I heard, but I don't remember it.
Dude, it's the
I don't
greatest
remember.
story. I don't even want to.
Sounds like something
I
I've
don't
heard.
want to even tell it because I can't tell it like
Yeah.
Charlie Murphy. But Charlie Murphy and his boys played Prince and his
dude,
boys,
okay.
and Prince had clothes for them, like some, shorts or
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, the whole thing set
He
up.
said
okay.
Prince's boys, they had like stuff all from the club. They didn't change.
Yeah.
They're all flowery stuff.
Wow.
But they ended up schooling him. Said Prince was just dunking on him and doing all.
Prince.
Yeah.
Prince played.
Now, how
Prince was good apparently.
was it? 10 feet basket?
I don't, dude.
I don't know. I don't think
Apparently,
so.
Prince was really good and schooled him, and then afterwards, he made him pancakes.
Okay.
Cooked for him.
I mean, that sounds like Prince. Like
You got to hear Charlie
yeah,
Murphy tell the
yeah.
story though. You'll be like,
That's
okay,
funny.
I love it
That's
when you
funny.
hear Charlie Murphy tell the story. It's on YouTube. Check
Okay.
it out. But so you were. How long did you play basketball?
Yeah, so like I got a lot of family members that's really into like basketball and stuff like that. So I was like always like a thing in my household.
Okay.
Extended family, immediate family, we always was into sports, watching it, playing it. So I started playing basketball like 7, 8 years old. My mom bought me my first basketball court. It was like 2007. So I was like 8 years old, 9 years old around that time.
That's crazy. That's when I
Yeah.
moved out here.
Yeah,
I was like
2007. I was like, yeah,
30.
Yeah, still look good.
You
my
moved
man,
here
come
when?
on.
The year of the hurricane in New Orleans. It was
2006?
No, 05.
06.
though.
It was 05 or
05?
06.
Yeah, it was like 05, okay.
Yeah,
But I turned 30 working that job.
Oh, I see what you
okay.
mean.
In
Yeah.
November.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I got my first basketball court in 2008, so I was like 19 years old. I was out there every day, just out all day, coming home from school. So I started, getting a little better. But like I said, I maxed out my height like 10th grade. So, you feel me? So I was like, even though I was good.
Did you play organized in school?
Yeah,
or
I played
anything?
organized. I played a lot of AAU. I was more so like on the AAU scene.
Okay.
Yeah, so I played a lot of AAU throughout LA. So like in my generation, like it was like when the YouTube and stuff like kind of like start popping. So like 2013, 14, 15, I was like 10th, 11th, 12th grade.
Okay.
So I was like when YouTube, like all these like guys that do like the YouTube, celebrity, basketball, boxing, whatever, football, whatever. That was like when it first started kind of popping up. So a lot of guys were kind of like, I don't really need to play high school. I could just go AAU and just get the same recognition.
Right.
So I was kind of like following that same like thing, but I just wasn't good enough to go to the next level. So
Do you think that athleticism or those years of moving around kind of helped your athleticism in fighting?
Pete told me that because when I first came to the gym, I was kind of squaring up like a street guy, like pulling up my pants, kind of like trying to fight. And but Pete, he always told me that I had like great instincts. So he was like, man, you got like natural instincts like a lot of people can't teach. Cause I was training for like a couple of weeks and I'd be slipping punches like of dudes that's been training 3, 4, 5 years. So that was like, I feel like the fast twitch muscles as far as like dribbling and how to go this way, defender coming behind him, whatever, and take spin moves, whatever. So I feel like, and I also like my movement. I was able to kind of like bounce around a lot just from, spotting up or running off screens and stuff like that. So I didn't realize it at first until like Pete was telling me like, you got like real natural like stuff that you got. You just got to hone it and not be as erratic, So I feel like basketball did play a big part in that. Yeah.
Shout out to Pete for having a good eye.
That's like my pops. Like,
We talked to Marcus last week about specifically what he just brought up. So let me hear your opinion on it.
Yes, sir.
What do you think would be who would translate best to?
Oh, okay.
What was the question? Who would translate best to fighting? What other sport would translate best to fighting? And vice versa, if you're a fighter,
Like at a professional
we're
level.
talking a professional level
Okay.
fighter, not like an amateur or
Like if
someone that hits the bag only.
a professional football player Or you know, what professional athlete?
Yeah.
You know, and you could be creative with the sports.
Yeah.
We just had the Olympics here, so but what professional sport or athlete in a sport would best translate?
I would say
fighting?
like obviously one of the obvious answers is football guys, but it would have to
Because
be
the
like certain
explosiveness, certain
strength,
positions.
But it had to be certain positions because it's like you're not gonna really find too many 300-pound guys you can fight. So it had to probably be like on like maybe wide receivers that kind of got like that quick burst, speed, agility, and I would say pro level soccer players.
Because the gas tank.
You know, they're good with their feet, other extremities that are just, you know, most jobs are just, you know, with hands and stuff like that. So I would say like soccer players probably would.
So let me tell you what kind of conclusion we kind of came up with. It was not a conclusion, but more so agreement more than anything else. Marcus also played rugby. Right. And rugby actually is gives you best of both of those worlds, football and soccer, because in rugby there is no substitutions like in American football where you go, you're gonna sit this play out and then come back in again depending on the mismatches and stuff.
Was it Volkanovski a rugby player?
He was.
So I mean,
he was.
And so they play with the continuity of action.
At 5'7",
wow, 230. Dude, the picture look. They have a picture.
And he was a good rugby player.
He was good.
He was a
looks
captain.
crazy.
He was the captain of the team, I think. So in rugby, they play continuous action. So they'll obviously, if the ball goes out of bounds, they'll stop, but they don't stop like and take a timeout.
Like every play.
There is no timeouts. There's no TV commercial timeouts and stuff like this. The only
how long
time
are the games?
40 minutes each half, so 80 minutes. And the funny thing
80
is,
minutes?
80 minutes total. But you have a 10 or 15 minute break in between, just like in soccer. But in soccer, it's 45 minutes. So rugby is essentially
football and soccer.
A mix between
without
football
the
and
pads.
soccer without the pads, obviously. But they have the same explosivity but also durability, the one that what we're looking for in soccer players.
Because the guys get fairly big.
They do, but they still run for.
Yeah, they're quick though, guys.
And the thing is also, for instance, even in soccer, and I'll tell you because I played, I've watched a lot of soccer, but I've also watched a lot of football and I've watched a lot of rugby, right? And in soccer, you have positions, right? Like in everything else, you have positions. In football, you have offense and then defense. So at one time on the field, you have offensive team and then a defensive team across from them. And the defensive team, you know, you have people whose only job is pretty much for the next 5 seconds or for the duration of the play, which is usually like whatever, I don't know what the number is, but 5 to 10 seconds max, is to run this defensively, let's say, to run from here to the wall, stop the penetration, or you know, block for the quarter for.
So not that much.
So it's not. I don't want to. I didn't want to say that because that sounds very condescending.
Right.
But it's not that much. All right. In other words, in terms of activity.
Yeah.
Not intensity. In terms of activity, right?
Alone,
If you take soccer, you have fullbacks, you have center backs, you have midfielders. They
doing the same thing.
They do the same thing.
Continuously.
They do it continuously, but they don't go any further unless there's a specific play that calls for the left or right back to go all the way to the wings. You know, there is no such thing as like, oh yeah, why don't you just go and score a goal from the back? You know what I mean? Right. You have your area of activity, to work on. You're responsible for this area. It's like zone defense essentially.
Gotcha.
But you don't have to go on the offense necessarily. In rugby, the whole line runs. So you have the ball, and there's a no forward passing rule, just like in the NFL. But there is no in the NFL or in football. You can pass if you're within the pocket. You can pass forward. In rugby, you can't pass forward.
You can do the laterals,
you can actually backward pass. Yeah. So it has to be a backward pass only.
See, I never really seen rugby. So, you know, it's not really like an American
sport. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
I've seen it a couple times, and I watched it in the Olympics, and it's still like I'm like listening to the people talk and trying to figure it out, and I can kind of figure it out, but there's still stuff I don't know what's going on.
The thing is that if we're on the same team and I got the ball and I'm running forward and I see that there's a defender coming at me, I pass the ball. And you're running slightly behind me. I pass the ball, then you're running slightly behind him.
Just like in football.
So imagine a play. What do you call the play in football where the quarterback passes it and then
Like a lateral.
lateral play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine
Yeah.
lateral play.
Yeah.
But we're talking about lateral play where it doesn't stop.
In rugby, right? That's how
And
it.
the whole line
right.
of 11 players, they move forward at the same as one. So you move forward. Now, obviously, there's a few that are back a little bit.
And they
you
do
know,
the
just
weird
in
thing, the
case.
scrum,
The scrum.
where they
is-
get
is
together and they
weird.
like hold on to each other.
it's
And
like-
That's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
that
wild.
to me is the weirdest fucking rule. I
It's
hate
so
that rule because it
strange.
slows down the game a lot.
I think that's like how
But
that's kind of
whatever.
like in basketball when they do the jump ball.
Uh,
Because they
But
line
in
up.
basketball, you do the jump ball and that's it. I mean, how many times do
what
you
it-
see a failed jump ball?
Well,
you
tell
know?
me-
Probably like
what
4
happens
times
with
at
this.
least.
Yeah.
Maybe
What I
2
think-
times.
What I thought happened was this. Okay, this team gets a hold of each other and lines up, and then this other team is right here, and then the ref will throw the
Yeah.
ball in between them,
He
and
throws
then
it in between, but they can't break the scrum.
they can't break
the
it.
formation.
They got to get the ball to somebody, and then
Yeah.
that dude starts taking off.
Yeah, it's
so
weird. You got to
weird.
see it to imagine it rather than imagine it. But,
Y'all gonna make me watch some rugby tonight, man.
Once you kind of see what's going on, it's kind of exciting because there's continuous action, kind of, and it's
Yeah.
like big guys. So guys are getting hit sometimes, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
and guys are trying to cut through.
There's a lot of similar rules with football. Like for example,
They've got the uprights.
yeah, they have
Did they
the
kick-
post where, but you still got to get to the other end. You know,
Like a touchdown.
like a touchdown.
Yeah.
They don't call it touchdown; they call it a try. And then after that, you have to score the points. Where in football, it's the additional
The
point,
extra
right?
point, yeah, the extra point.
And then in there they call it I forget what it's called, but it's actually 2 points. So you score 5 on a try, like a touchdown. Instead of 6, you score 5, and then 2 for the extra
Right, so
point.
7. So who's biting off of who?
But let me tell you
How
what
old
the
is
difference
rugby?
in the rule is.
I don't think rugby that old.
Rugby is older than
It's older than
it's
football?
from
Football?
19th century. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
really?
older than soccer, really.
Okay.
Yeah, soccer started after rugby as a result of.
Freaking historian over here.
Yeah, but check this out.
You
When you do
big
the
rugby
extra
fan.
points, when you do the kick on the extra points, so imagine this is the line, the touchdown line,
Yeah.
right? The end zone, and you run and you score it right here in the corner, let's say, right, in football. So you score the touchdown in the corner, and then you do the extra points right in front of the goalposts,
Yeah.
right? So from the distance. In rugby, you're gonna kick the extra points from exactly in front of where there's still a line where you kick
From
it
where
from,
you crossed
but
it?
it's gonna be exactly the line where you crossed.
so it's
So you're not
awkward.
gonna go in front. You're gonna go at angles and stuff like so. Their kickers are like there's kickers, rugby kickers in the NFL. You know, like
Wow.
that are.
They're probably more skilled in rugby because they have
The
to do
ball
it at
is
different
heavier
angles.
and
It's a weird shape, right?
Yeah.
It's not like a football.
No,
It's
It's like,
like-
a circular
it's
almost, right?
almost no. It's
It's like
almost the
it's
same, but it's
between a
like
football and a
soft,
soccer ball.
Soft. It's softer ball,
Okay.
and it's kind of heavier. And when you
Maybe
when
because you
throw
don't
it,
gotta throw it as much. Like
yeah,
feel me?
you
Football,
Right.
gotta
you
throw
can't
it a
just
lot.
throw it
Yeah.
forward like
Right, like a football.
There's no way you're gonna throw that thing. So yeah, so we came to the conclusion that
Rugby.
you know, or to the consensus at least, that rugby is probably
All right.
you
I
know
can
from that
appreciate- I can
because
appreciate
like you
that.
said,
Conclusion.
like you said, you know, you have the durability and the stamina of soccer players,
Absolutely.
but the explosivity and you know intensity
Football
of football.
players are really explosive. There's a guy on YouTube. I can't remember his name, but he just started training as a just.
You doing jujitsu?
He's
or-
doing jujitsu.
Okay, nice.
And he shows like these crazy workouts that he's doing. I mean, he's
Yeah.
you know he's built. You can tell he's freaking strong. But then he'll show him like how he deals with people, like his live,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's just exploding on people.
Is he really nice? Or he just
The
strong?
videos that you can tell he has skill for sure.
Yeah.
But it's more so how explosive
Yeah.
he does the skills that he's
Okay.
performing, which is cool. It's not the jujitsu that I came up with, or I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool to look at, but I'm not like Nicky Rodriguez. It's like Nicky Rodriguez, his first ADCC. That's what he's just like that.
Unpolished, but
Unpolished, and he's going to do a blast double. He's going for it. You know, he's going to do a Darce. He's going to.
you know that this thing is not going to fly these days. We're talking about 5 years later, 2019 till now. You gotta have the skill with what Nicky Rod was offering at the time because
The
at
top
the time,
level 8 jujitsu.
yeah, man,
He's
that's
got-
so
he-
weird how
he-
much the sport has grown. Like,
He was second, being a blue belt, super
Wow.
aggressive. He got
yeah,
second.
he had a wrestling background, and because of the rules of ADCC, he got to second place because he out wrestled people that had done some wrestling, but wrestling was not emphasized.
I feel like wrestling is like kind of like the Achilles heel for
It's
a lot.
kind of like anti-jiu-jitsu, and I think
Yeah.
it used to be that more. I think we've talked about this, whereas in the beginning ADCCs, dude, wrestlers would show up and, I mean, give jiu-jitsu guys a super hard time
Yeah,
all the time, and
I
then that
noticed
kind of
that.
stopped happening
Yeah.
for the longest
Yeah.
time, and it happens every once in a while, but it doesn't happen as much as it used to, you know?
I feel like even the MMA wrestlers, like, you feel me?
MMA, I think, is the best space for, or
They're-
wrestling is the best space for MMA, in my opinion.
When I went against like real high level wrestlers, if I don't neutralize them immediately, or
They're goers.
they gonna keep coming. You feel me? So you gotta like
I
get
used
them
to
out of
wrestle.
there. You gotta get them out of there.
Do you train jiu-jitsu right now?
I mean,
not right now, but
Well, when I first came to Uprise in 2021, I was doing it a lot. But I was just like, I'm a striker naturally at heart.
Yeah.
So I kind of just took that more seriously.
Yeah.
But I mean, to a regular person, I'll probably be decent.
That's cool.
Obviously, to you guys, I'm nowhere near you
Don't
guys.
even
but what
True.
about MMA?
Yeah.
Do you have any aspirations for MMA?
I mean, we gonna see.
How was your
we
contract
gonna-
with bare knuckle? In
Well,
terms
I'm
of-
supposed to have one more. They signed me to 3
You
fights.
told me off.
They
the
signed me to
camera
3
before.
fights. So,
Okay.
you know, it's a dangerous sport. So they can't be like, oh, we're going to give you a 4-year contract. Like, it don't work like that. You
don't know.
You break orbital bone, you break
Right.
whatever, all type of stuff can happen. So they sign you to like kind of like certain amounts of fights. So they signed me to 3 fights. Obviously, they know my hands are broken. So they was like, they're not going to pressure me into doing the last one. It's strictly on me.
So what do you think? Are we going to get an exclusive, or are you going to keep it from us?
We gonna see, man.
We
We
gonna
gonna see. Yeah. I mean,
If something else might come up, or
I mean, when I come back, I don't know. You might ask me this later, so I ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna keep that on the show right now.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as like making a return.
keep
to
them
bare
on
knuckle.
there, because
Yeah,
we might
yeah.
have to get you back up in
Yeah,
here for.
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm gonna keep that on the show for right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
no, go ahead.
He told me something
Yeah.
a while ago, and what he said is that you didn't really have aspirations to be like a professional fighter forever.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that right? Like,
Yeah.
he just kind of wanted to do this thing real quick while he's
Yeah,
young and
for
strong,
sure.
and
Yeah.
then kind of go on to the next cool thing or
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like, you don't really hear,
Yeah.
like, especially somebody that, you're in a professional promotion.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
impressive. You're just like, I'm living life, just trying to have cool experiences.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's
like, so
impressive.
It caught me by surprise when you told me that.
Yeah, I remember we were talking for like an hour about that. So when I initially came, like I said, 2021. So I was 23. I started training. I feel like I went to like another level last year in 2023 when I had 5 Muay Thai fights last year and I won all of them. So I was just like, you know what?
And
I
that's
feel
Muay
like
Thai real quick with like knees, elbows, everything?
yeah.
Okay.
So my first one I had at the top of the year last year in January. And I'm just telling you this just to give you a quick backstory of why I said that. I had my first sanctioned Muay Thai fight under the IKF in March of 2023. TKO'd the guy quick in like a minute 30. So I was like, wow, okay. Second fight, it was June last year. I knocked the guy out in 55 seconds. Fourth fight, I fought him in last year in November. So I'm sorry, I had 4 fights last year. And I was just like, I started after that no contact Muay Thai. I was like, yeah, I probably don't want to do this for the long term. And I was just like, you know what? I'm 25 at the moment. I'm gonna just stop doing it when I'm 28. So that's what I came up with. I was like, I never.
It was
really
just an
wanted to,
arbitrary limit?
Yeah, I was just like, I still want to be able to just. And the reason I brought up that story of me winning those fights like that is because I kind of just worked so hard that I got good, and I was just like, oh, I didn't think I was going to even get to this level.
Right.
And that kind of happened so fast, and then after that,
Kinda
bare
shocked
knuckle,
you.
So I was just like, I kind of just speed ran through like this whole little, most guys be fighting 10 years and then they go whatever. So I was just like, man, I already made it to this big promotion. I'm like, I feel like I got a good story to tell 10 years from now and be like, man, I used to, so I like don't really want to have aspirations to be like, oh, I'm world champion in the world. I just want to be really good at something and just have like trophies and probably like a belt and just be like, call it a day. You feel me?
Like an experience.
Yeah, experience
Like
like a moment in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's very cool.
What
Yes,
made you walk into the gym the first time?
So this is a funny origin story. So back in 2018, I was working at Chick-fil-A. So it's in Venice, not too far from here. I mean, we're in like Mar Vista, Venice, so it's like kind of like up the road about 2 miles. And I didn't have a car, so I was like 19.
The one in Lincoln?
Yeah, one on Lincoln.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I used to have to catch the train before I got my car and catch the bus and catch the 33 bus.
33 bus.
All the way down to Lincoln and go to my job. And back when we were down the street right there by Taco Bell, and I used to just I used to look outside the bus window. And I used to be like, they up in there getting it in. Like I'm gonna go. Like and I always like I said, fighting was never something that was like I never did and wasn't like comfortable doing. So I was like, man, I always was watching the UFC even when I was young. I watched a lot of WWE. I was a big WWE fan, so I kind of always like to fight sport. You feel me?
Yeah.
Whether the promotion. So I was like, man, one day I'm gonna just go there. So this is 2018. I'm saying this. And I didn't go until 2020. That's when I first came. I went for 2 days, and they shut the world down. Shut the world down. Then I came back in 2021, and I never left.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was.
So I thought you were there earlier, but I mean, time blended so interesting.
There's a weird time thing there.
When I came, I had a low cut. I didn't have dreads at all. I had a low cut. Yeah. 20.
You did?
I had a low cut. Yeah.
I remember that.
I had a low cut.
I remember I've seen many people, including Sasha, just left.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember seeing them from the old gym, and they were like, "Oh, I started right before the pandemic, because everything nowadays is everything is the pandemic before, during, and after, and we're in the after right now. But when did the after start?
2017.
So it's before and during, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I feel like I've known you for forever.
Sasha didn't start coming until after the pandemic?
No, man, she started like 2019,
okay.
I think. But she...
'Cause I thought I remembered her.
Yeah, she started coming in 2019.
A lot of stories I hear being in the gym, a lot of guys started in 2019. 2018, 2019.
Yeah, the gym opened in 2017.
Okay, makes sense.
But he moved from the one down the street.
Yeah, were you at the one?
Yeah, the Way of the Warrior. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Way of the
I was there for
Warrior.
6 months more or less, and then we moved over here.
Okay.
6-7 months, we moved here.
Yeah, well, I was here, cause I started in April. I'm like really good at remembering years and months. I don't know why. So I started in April 2021. So we moved here like September, October 2021.
Here in November 1st,
November.
I think.
Okay, it was something around like the end of the year.
Not to say that you're not right with that.
Yeah,
I may be wrong too. Maybe in October. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, cause I feel like it was around like Halloween time or something.
Yeah, it was around Halloween, right?
It was like around Halloween when we came, but then like when we came here, I just kind of like started kind of like propelling a little bit more, and like I started kind of like matching up with guys that's been training 4 or 5 years, and I'm like, okay, I can match up with this guy now. You know, like okay, I was getting beat up for like 3 months straight, and then, fighting. I don't know if you're gonna ask me this later, but the thing I learned about fighting, and I always say this, is it humbles you, and it kind of like I feel like it builds your character too. You know, so that's like a big thing that I learned. Like especially me coming from the streets, being around guys that were like super aggressive, super gang banged out, and tough. Like they feel like they the toughest guys in the world. Coming here and getting beat up by like guys you would think like you'll see him on the street, you'd be like, oh, this guy, you'll look past him, 100%. And you come up here and you get teeped, and you're like, hold on, and get roundhouse. Yeah. You're like, oh, I ain't never felt nothing like that, and it kind of like built my character. Yeah. So
jiu-jitsu was like that with me.
You get choked out, like
dude.
I don't want to go to jiu-jitsu. I get choked out in 10 seconds.
I've seen guys coming from the street. With all the testosterone and stuff, they get choked out by girls.
Oh yeah. I've seen that a couple of times.
Yeah, and people don't believe you when you tell them that. But if you've been here and you've seen it, you know it happens.
I didn't have to.
The change of attitude in the guy.
either they submit and they're like, oh, that's magical, I'm gonna submit to it, like master, or they're shameful and
they never come back.
They usually don't come back after that, which is okay.
Yeah,
because you don't want somebody coming back with vengeance and
that's not.
Because then they start trying to use it. They use the power for evil. They're like, I'm gonna learn this and do some bad with it.
Yeah, you might be going 50% and he go 100% and try to knock you out of training.
And you get broke. That happens too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sparring especially. I mean, you got to pick your partners. You know that it's not. In jiu-jitsu, you pick your partners too, but you got a lot more control over what can happen because there's no punches flying.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get. You can get caught in a submission, but you're gonna tap. You're not gonna get concussed or knocked out.
Yeah.
That's
why I feel like most guys can do it longer. It's kind of, you can sustain doing jiu-jitsu. I feel like, later in life,
You're not going to be able to wrestle
forever. You
forever.
can't be sparring, you're not wrestling, nah.
You can't wrestle forever.
Me right now, I can't even move laterally, like to move, like when I wrestle now, because we do jiu-jitsu, right, and we start on the feet, I'm not moving laterally too well. I'm like, I can't move laterally too well, so I'm like, I start being more static, but if I spar with gloves on and stuff, like boxing or Muay Thai or something, I I suffer from it because
Yeah.
I have to move laterally.
You gotta
right?
move. You gotta move. That's
I
a big
can't
thing.
even.
It's a
I
big
can't.
thing.
I can pivot on my left leg.
Yeah.
I can't pivot on my right leg and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So I can't move laterally this way or that way. And I used to be able to do that a few years back, but now I can't. So it's become one of those big problems.
That was part of the reason why I
So-
said 28. I'm 28,
Yeah,
29. I'm
yeah,
done. Yeah.
With me, it's not a result of age.
Yeah, no, of course.
I must
yeah,
say.
of course.
I must
of course.
say.
Of course.
Nobody implied that in the first place.
Yeah.
But a result of like knee injury, and it makes
Yeah, especially
when-
whether the level, it's still a risk of something happening. So,
Of course.
you could get a guy that crank you a little too hard, even if it's not malicious, but it still can happen. So
Right.
you still, you got injuries going on. You still got to worry about
Right.
something. So it's not something to play with.
Yeah,
That's definitely a thing for sure.
So in jiu-jitsu, we have the luxury of having a lot less dynamic impact.
Right.
Where the most dynamic thing that can happen is you get taken down. But other than that, I mean, once you're on the ground, you can get injured if somebody's reckless.
Yeah.
Most jiu-jitsu is
But
known
most
for
of the jiu-jitsu
takedowns.
injuries happen. They don't happen because of one person doing something to another person. They happen. Those happen in competition,
Like
in
rare
fights.
yeah.
If they're going 100% in a submission and
too
you're not
tensed
really
up,
tapping,
yeah.
you're not really tapping and that kind of shit. But
I'm
in
a tap,
training,
yeah.
Tapping.
I'm tapping.
In
yeah.
trap-
Did you watch the Polaris?
I did, but I didn't see the undercard.
What happened?
You were talking about the undercard.
Man, this dude got armbarred. And the guy, he took it here. It was
Once
just
he
like
get
with
there,
Tony
it's a
Ferguson.
wrap.
And
Once
then he
he
did
get-
this, and then it was like bloop bloop, and the arm was like
Yeah, I
and
know,
then the
it's-
guy just laid there.
You
The guy
gotta
did
tap.
not
You gotta
get
tap,
up.
man.
You could
It's crazy.
tell.
You gotta tap.
And the
It
thing
was
is, they're gonna
so-
stop the match. They're gonna stop the match. Why did you not tap?
I could only
Yeah.
look at it once when
Yeah.
I saw it, and then I was like, oh. Then they showed it a bunch of times. In the
Yeah.
crowd, I was like, ooh.
I was just watching
once he
some
put it under his
highlight from
arm.
an MMA fight today. I think it was Jamal Hill against guy triangled him, but he broke his arm first.
Jamal Hill.
I think it was Jamal Hill. Maybe I'm wrong.
Or was it? Was it the guy that lost to
Craig
Wonder Boy? Was it him? The black dude, right? I feel like he broke his arm in
No,
the fight.
the
Oh,
guy
you're talking
that
about Kevin Holland?
Was
No,
it him?
no,
No.
no.
Okay.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Nick.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, I know
He
something
broke
happened.
his
Yeah, he
arm.
broke his arm.
No, but the thing is when he got him. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I got the names wrong. He got him in he got him in an armbar, and he started cranking and all that stuff. And then you could see that the arm is bending a little bit unusual, but you don't see the rest of the body. So it's kind of like
But the ref didn't call that one, right?
No, what happened was the arm was going around a little bit like weirdly, but then the guy threw a triangle on him, and instead of doing what Paddy Pimblett did, like break the arm completely off the
Yeah.
triangle, he actually started hitting the guy while he was inside the triangle. So if you can imagine, he just broke the guy's
Christ.
arm. He just
Yeah.
broke the guy's arm. The arm is inside the triangle with his head, and he's getting hit on the head. And the guy doesn't tap or anything because there's no choke really. He's just like.
But he's just getting punched
It's
in the
very
face with
hard
his
to
arm is
choke
broken.
somebody and punch them at the same time because
Right.
There's no gonna be no power
it's-
really
yes.
to that, right?
Yeah, it's not. But what's interesting is the guy's arm was doing like this. It's
Oh, I
very
think I've-
graphic, right?
I think I've
the
seen
guy's
that.
arm was going like this.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So they say the guy's arm is broken. The ref,
Right, I
and the
can
ref
see it.
stopped it because of that. Because
Yeah.
the arm was broken. So my point here is,
I think it was. It looked.
why do you have to
Yeah.
not tap?
Like the
Because
pride thing,
now on the
yeah.
other hand, maybe you're thinking, well, I'm going to continue fighting. I'm getting out of this armbar and continue
You
fighting.
might not know. I mean, with adrenaline, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
If your,
I've been
your
put
whole
out
arm-
before.
Yeah.
Remember when Jacare got his
Yes.
arm broken on
Yep, that was.
Roger Gracie? No, who did?
Oh, in the wait in
Sandra Rivera?
jiu-jitsu,
In jiu-jitsu, yeah.
Jacare.
I think Shanji Rivera broke his arm, or was it
Well,
the other
Hodger
one?
Hodger
Maybe
definitely.
them high level guys, you can't be playing with them.
Hodger
dudes, man.
definitely broke somebody's
Can't play
arm
with
in the
them dudes like
finals
that.
of the absolute.
No, they.
And then the dude ran from him.
Yeah. But the weirdest
Hodger
part
tried to
is that
grab.
people do it for no money, man. Like, there's
Breaking
no
your
money
arm broke for
involved.
no reason.
I mean,
And I mean,
but saying you're the best, you're the world champion though.
I heard them guys. Do them guys really be juicing? I heard that that's like a thing.
who?
Steroids?
In
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, there's no testing unless
That's
it's
crazy.
for IBJJF.
there's no testing. And IBJJF, they'll only test, I think,
Polaris tested apparently.
really?
Yeah, Polaris.
IBJJF will test black belts
Yeah.
in the finals. And I think we asked
Adults,
Gustavo,
no masters, no
just the
masters
adults.
are the age,
Just
you
the
know,
adults.
like our age.
Yeah,
And I don't
yeah,
think it's.
yeah.
I don't know if it's every single one or if it's like
But so how does that work though? Like, why
a
don't
lottery.
they test like
I
guys
think
that they compete?
I think it's expensive for one. I think it's expensive to do. Like if you're going to do a comprehensive testing like UFC,
Yeah.
that's
I
expensive.
think it's
and I think
also the
like
Bare
no one
knuckles
else.
does it.
The prestige.
they?
of-
Yeah, 4 guys got popped in the April fight.
Oh.
4 guys
Now,
got
do you
popped.
think?
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Do you think?
They drug tested me.
I'm not gonna ask. I'm not gonna ask you if you've ever done it. I doubt because you barely started training, and if they tested you and you've been negative. But do you think that can actually improve your performance in terms of performance itself? Do you think it's
Yes.
dangerous for your opponent, or do you
Yes.
think
Yeah.
because I think the biggest benefit of that is the recovery.
That too.
The shortening of the recovery time.
I
That
feel like it's
too.
more of like an endurance and a stamina thing. That's like the biggest thing.
There's steroids for
Yeah.
all of that.
So if you like, I mean, obviously like the strength thing.
Right, so
it's
there's
like, even if
different
you're
types.
strong, I can still catch you and knock you out.
There's
It don't matter how
steroids
strong you
for
are.
all
But
of that.
if you don't get tired for 5 rounds straight, it's like,
Right.
come on, bro.
And if you like,
Yeah.
if like TJ Dillashaw with the EPO,
Yeah.
if you can train 3 times a
That's
day for
that's
2
what I'm
hours,
talking about. Yeah.
7 days a week, without your
That's
body
not natural.
breaking down,
That's not
you're going to be
natural.
No,
way
your recovery
better
time is
than the
is-
dude.
that's what they were. They
'Cause
did
he was cutting a lot of
They did
weight.
an experiment in cycling, right, where Lance Armstrong tested positive, and they did an experiment in cycling. They specifically did it in one particular route, I guess. And
They were saying there's no big difference.
it is there is so
He
there,
had to
there,
do
there
it
wasn't
'cause
yeah so
everyone
there
did
wasn't
it.
there wasn't a big difference, right? The winner remained the winner, you know, with or without juice, but and pretty much everyone else, you know, and there's like
Wait, what were
hundreds
they
of
saying now?
participants in cycling. There's 100.
So he's saying
hundreds
like in simulation, it's the same people still won.
yeah, pretty much.
Because Lance
pretty
Armstrong
much.
was like,
But-
I have to do it because everyone else was doing it.
Well-
if everyone else didn't do it,
And that's
and
how
Lance
everybody got
Armstrong
caught,
didn't do it, then
yeah.
he would have still won, but he couldn't compete.
Here's the thing. Why the cyclists do it specifically? It's the endurance, first of all. You know, they go like hours on end.
Yeah, exactly. They doing 5
And then-
hours on a
yeah,
bike. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then the
Those
other
guys are in
thing is,
great
That's
the
what I'm
other
saying. So
thing is-
imagine fighting though. You fighting a guy, you getting tired 3rd round, and he coming at you. Now he's
Yeah,
not sweating.
yeah,
I can start.
Like, come
I
on,
can start
man.
sprinting as soon as the fight starts, and I don't have to worry about stopping. That's
come
the
on,
thing
that's-
too. I know
that's
that
not cool.
I know that I can sprint
Yeah.
the entire time. That's going to give me crazy confidence.
Yeah.
And it's like that will allow my talents to come out more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm physically stronger. That's
I feel
why-
like it's more important in fighting though, because it's like you actually taking damage to your body.
Oh, I think it's definitely
You feel
more.
me?
It's,
Yeah.
it's super
More
dangerous.
dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yeah.
Look at Michael Bisping against Vitor Belfort. Kicked his eye out.
yeah.
Killed his eye. Now he has a glass eye. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I think in fighting it would make a big difference. Like
In
fighting,
boxing,
But
Boxing.
4 guys got
Dude.
popped in my first bare knuckle fight. Like so that big promotion when Mike Perry was on it.
Yeah.
When I undercard for Mike Perry, 4 guys got popped, and it was 2 like top guys.
so are they just they're penalized by the commission?
Yeah, so I guess they got one up. Like I mean, you know, it's based off like how much they earn too. So it's obviously certain guys earn like get fined more. One guy, I think he got suspended for like he can't fight again with them.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
and then it's
That
like
was my next question.
Bro,
Okay.
I'm like,
probably wasn't his first.
yeah, but I'm like, I'll be so bummed out because he used steroids and he lost, and it's like
I know that's like a double. It's
kinda
like
crazy,
damn,
like-
you
then he lost to a guy that wasn't even skilled. It's like
damn.
he lost to like a guy that was just swinging with his head down. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
Damn.
that's the case of Lomachenko's first fight as a pro.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Nah, I never seen that
No,
one.
Lomachenko came out.
How long ago was that?
It wasn't. I mean, probably 2015, 2014.
Yeah, because he was an amateur
he
for
has
a
like
long
300,
time.
over
Yeah.
300 amateur
He
fights.
lost one fight
Wow.
amateur.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. He was like
He's
3.
Ukrainian,
Golovkin,
right?
Golovkin also like,
Yeah.
like
300
one
amateur.
or none. I don't
Why
know.
would you do 300 amateur fights if you're not like a Muay Thai guy? Because those Muay Thai dudes do that
Because
over there.
They do it. He was an Olympian. He was Olympic
Yeah,
champion
he
or
was
something, I think.
Okay,
But
so
also,
a lot of dudes.
the thing
but
about boxing
300?
too, like the boxing is like, them dudes really don't be making all that. Like it's a big discrepancy with boxing. So a lot of he probably was just waiting for like the opportunity to sign with a big promotion too.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
that's
so.
another thing because a lot of
When-
them guys ain't earning that much.
When
You feel me?
Lomachenko's signed up for his first fight.
It probably makes
he
you
went
better,
up
too.
against the guy who retired after that fight, even though he won against Lomachenko. Lomachenko was a lot more skilled. The guy came in big. In fact, the guy came in big on the weigh-ins, and he said.
So that's the thing the fighters do, man.
He took off his shirt. He weighed in. He knew it was bigger. I mean, he looked fucking bigger. And he started drinking water right there on the scales. He said, I'm not going to dehydrate myself at my age. And I'm thinking,
that's crazy.
You're retiring after this fight. This guy is gonna be is looking to make a name for himself in the pro circus. Even though he already had a name because he was an Olympian and all that stuff. But you got to be a boxing fan to know him, like a boxing fan in terms of like amateur boxing fan. Like you wouldn't know him if you only follow heavyweights and every now and then, you know. And so, and the guy, I forgot his name. He's an American.
He just beat him, or it was kind of like a weird fight?
Loma was trying, his thing, like what we've seen a million times since then. Yeah. The guy was just swinging for the fences, and he hit him a few times. He didn't knock him out or knock him down or anything like that, but he hit him a few times. I don't remember knocking him down, but he hit him a few times hard and rattled him, and it was just like one of those like. You got to watch out for these things because they fly,
Yeah.
Like just swing and whatever happens. Yeah. And he caught him a few times, but he was also much bigger. So if he got caught by someone at his own weight, maybe it wouldn't have made that big of a difference.
Look at Ryan Garcia against the last fight.
No, I mean, that one dude, that's controversial. That's controversial.
With the bet, dude, he came in, what, 3
he
or
was 3 pounds over.
Had to get forfeit a couple $1 million to Devin Haney.
He said 1.5.
Dude, but he went in there and
he made it up on his bet. Yeah. From what I understand,
he beat.
Yeah.
He beat him up.
You know the thing I learned
but he was also on I don't know how much steroids, but he's in big trouble now.
They said it was like that's what he said. But when I read the article, they said it was like if you go to like a pool and you put a cup in the pool, that's how much it was.
The John Jones, that's the John Jones thing. The thing is, it's in your body, dude.
Exactly, know the story about John Jones? He was hiding under the podium of the UFC.
Yeah, when they came to test him.
They came to test him.
That's hilarious.
That's
crazy.
That's hilarious.
Man, I tell you. But do you? Let me get back to basketball, man. I know you're a Laker fan, right?
Yeah.
Do you also support the Clippers being from the same town?
I mean, yeah, of course. Like it's an LA.
Because neither of them is originally from LA.
Yeah. But like Lakers, it's all about like it's a more of a pride thing. Like,
so you are a Lakers fan, and
I'm not like a real Laker fan because I'm a LeBron James fan. You feel me? So I'm like a big NBA. I'm a big NBA fan. I'm an NBA fan in general. Like, I watch the Charlotte Hornets, or I'm gonna watch Boston versus Miami. So it don't matter who it is, but
What about LeBron pre-Lakers versus the Lakers?
Yeah, I like kind of just followed his career.
So you would have rooted for LeBron.
Well, Cleveland playing the Lakers. I've been to one of those games.
I was never like just a Laker. I wasn't a Kobe fan. Like in LA, it was either like
Did people try to check you on that?
No, I mean. Of course, like little friendly arguments, friendly banter, like, F LeBron or he's not Kobe.
So if the Lakers are playing in the playoffs and the Clippers are playing not against each other, the Lakers get eliminated, which has been happening recently a lot, and the Clippers are still in the playoffs. Yeah. Are you continuing to root for the Clippers after that?
No, I'm not rooting for the Clippers. No. I'm not rooting for them right now. they just here. They just here. No.
Who's the NBA GOAT?
I mean, my GOAT is LeBron.
You would say that because you've been following, but I also know that you've been watching basketball as
back. He knows.
I know. You told me names, and you know that too.
I'm starting to wonder because I had a conversation with my dad when I went home about it. I'm starting to wonder now. If it's a generational thing.
Okay.
Now, and I don't know because I don't have a conversation with a whole lot of people about it, but I wonder if most of the people that go with LeBron are going to be on the younger end of the spectrum, and most of the people. So there might be a time bias.
I'm 26. I started watching basketball seriously 2007. So I was 9 when we had a whole discussion about this. I started watching all the games, everything, doing history, comparing footage, comparing stats, whatever, magazines.
When did Michael Jordan? When was he done?
Like 2002, 2003, 2003. Yeah.
Okay.
So. LeBron came like the year after he retired, like kind of like the season after he retired.
After that, yeah.
So they never played against each other, nothing. But in my opinion, I like LeBron better. As a player, as a body of work. I feel like back in the day, in the '90s, late '80s, the skill level wasn't as what it is now. So, you guys just mentioned about the jiu-jitsu, how it's grown.
I think so.
And guys have gotten better.
I
So,
agree with that.
if that can happen in any other sport, why it can't happen in basketball? Like, we got to be logical about that, too. If guys, back in the day, who was shooting like Steph Curry? Nobody, right?
Yeah.
We had guys that were
In fact, it was frowned upon.
Yeah, exactly.
People,
we had guys
shots from.
we had
midcourt.
guys like Drazen Petrovic. We had guys like Reggie Miller. We had guys like Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott that were good 3-point shooters. But
you had guys like Larry Bird.
Yeah, Larry Bird.
Who was known for 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
But I heard someone make an argument one time.
Yeah.
That said, there's only a Steph Curry now. Steph Curry only exists because the game has changed.
Yeah, of course.
They're like people didn't just sit for all day long doing this, practicing because it was a different game.
But the game is played on the perimeter a lot more now than before.
Even when I first started watching it wasn't as much spacing as it is now. The game was very like half court orientated.
Yeah.
Now it's like a full.
You know
court
who I
running
credit
down.
most with that? Mike D'Antoni. Even though I think his
the
team
Suns teams.
I think his
they
team
always
sucked.
underachieved.
I don't agree with his philosophy on basketball or anything. But the space out and all that stuff.
And that was frowned upon.
Yeah.
I mean, for that, he had like a thing like 13 seconds or less.
7 seconds.
7 seconds or less. With Steve
yeah.
Nash won 2 MVPs off that.
I have to shut up.
Oh, okay. See, we like we're NBA fans.
But I do enjoy listening.
But then after that,
he
changed. They changed the way the game's played because people started like. So D'Antoni's.
What year is this?
It's like
06,
04
07.
to 07, probably around that range. Yeah.
So how long is the change? Do you think?
Well, it gradually happened. I remember Orlando Magic started doing with Stan Van Gundy as coach when the Lakers played him in the finals.
2009.
Yeah, Orlando Magic started with Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard was their centerpiece. Not just the center, but their centerpiece.
Dwight Howard.
He was a star player.
I remember Orlando when Shaq was there.
They had a bunch of shooters.
They had Rashard Lewis. They had Rayford Austin. They had Hito Turkoglu.
Hito and
Jameer Nelson. Yeah, they had a lot of guys on the perimeter. They
had a lot of guys. So what they would do is they would play pick and roll with him, either penetrate or kick it out and shoot a 3-pointer.
That's how they beat Cleveland that year.
Right. Yeah, they beat Cleveland and
Boston. They beat LeBron that year
and Boston.
They lost to the Lakers in the finals.
They played a very team game. Problem is Dwight Howard wasn't really a big scorer.
Yeah.
He was big on.
He wasn't good at free throw, so that was another thing.
He went to the Lakers for a minute, didn't he?
Yeah,
It was like a disaster.
wasn't a good stint. That wasn't a good. That was like a 2-year thing.
It was also a little mismanaged, I think. Yeah. No, he did 2 stints with the Lakers. 2012.
No, I was saying the first one was like a little stint. Yeah.
But then now he won the championship with the Lakers.
Yeah, 2020. Yep, in a bubble. Yep.
But the thing is that the game was played differently. I think that's what developed Steph Curry into, or it's not Steph Curry that made Steph Curry is making young kids now on the playground shooting 3-pointers from everywhere.
That's what this dude was saying.
Steph Curry is a product of what happened at that time.
And another thing, Steph Curry got drafted in 2009, right? And he really broke out in 2013 when he broke. That was the first year he broke the NBA 3-point record. When he broke Ray Allen record in the season.
It took Jordan a couple years too to warm up.
Yeah. To me, I still, and it's not a nostalgic thing or anything like that at all, but I still would take Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Before LeBron. But that's, even though I'm a Lakers
Michael
fan.
Jordan never lost in the finals.
Well, he never lost in the finals, but he also had, somebody made a good point the other day in 97, in 94.
No, they didn't win 94, 93, right?
93,
92,
their record was such and such, the Bulls with him, and then without him, they were like just 2 games behind. So their team was quite amazing to begin with, And it's not like Cleveland literally tanked after LeBron left.
Yeah, they was like literally at 2010, 2011, they were the worst team in the NBA.
Yeah, they went from
the best team to the worst team, like literally.
I think that LeBron has more value as a player on a team, but I think that. So the real question is like, who is? I mean, you can say the greatest. What is the actual criteria? Is it like?
But this is too like this question is too like. It's a preference thing.
It's too objective.
It's really objective. You feel me? It just the big thing about the age thing is a big thing. I feel like for the most part too, because some guys will be like, well, you feel me? I feel like back in the day we was doing that already. Y'all just kind of start doing it more. You feel me? Yeah.
So my dad and I were just talking all kinds of mad shit. We're just like, these motherfuckers don't know what they're talking about. I was like, LeBron does great things.
Yeah.
But Michael Jordan is great. Because I will say this, the thing about LeBron that's super impressive, that whole NIL thing that he did.
Yeah.
Like, he changed the whole world. He changed all kinds of people's lives.
He did.
That's amazing to me. And I used to talk about LeBron. I always have to admit this because I would just talk random shit about LeBron. I didn't even watch basketball, but I'd be like, F LeBron. For what he did, for when he left Cleveland. I was just like, that's
I
just
think
weird.
He the most hated ever.
He was in the finals.
It was just badly managed because it was televised badly. And
Well, that whole thing about I'm going to take my talents to South Beach, I was just like, that just sounded...
I mean, it was a different world back then, too, though. It was 2010.
Now, he was young and a superstar, and his world was blowing up. So now as an older dude, I can look back and I'd be like, I mean, I can't fault him for riding that wave.
Yeah.
But...
Well, in retrospect, definitely. I mean, he did what he did in Cleveland, and it's not like he didn't take him to the finals. How many years was he in Cleveland before he went? He went in 2010. He went to South.
You're talking
Beach.
about the first time.
It was in 7 years.
7 years.
Because when he went back, I was even madder. I was mad for Cleveland. I was like, oh,
yeah,
if
they were
better not
burning
accept
number
him.
23.
I was like, they better not accept him back. They're gonna be mad.
But he
actually, LeBron.
He came back. They're like,
LeBron.
we love you, we love you. I was like, fuck all y'all, Cleveland. I was like, I can't respect y'all. He did that to y'all, and now y'all are welcoming him back. And then he won like a title with him.
I never saw it that way, man. I never saw it that way. I think that
I was a straight up hater.
He knew he had to set it right, though.
I was a straight up hater.
He had to set it right.
I appreciate him way more now because he's just changed the world. He's done amazing things, and I've noticed.
I mean, I didn't like when he came to the Lakers because it didn't make sense.
I thought, dude, I was big time hating. I don't even watch basketball, but
I'm a big
like,
LeBron fan. I was like, this really don't make sense. Like the team is not really orchestrated to win.
And they welcomed him here. I was just like,
that's why it took
fools.
a year. It took a year for them to, cause like the first year they didn't make the playoffs.
They're like, oh yeah, he's coming. I was like, dude, first you talk shit, now you're welcome. Did just what Cleveland.
Well, a lot of Kobe fans didn't accept. Like I'm from LA. Like they didn't really mess with LeBron when he first came. Like Kobe was still alive too at that moment too. So they was like, well,
Kobe endorsed him.
Well, I'm saying like a lot of fans in LA, they was like, well, he'll never be Kobe. Like
fools wanted to win a title.
If he went to Chicago Bulls, of course, people are gonna start comparing. You know what I'm saying? It's like nobody is ever gonna be comparing him to anybody in Miami or Cleveland. To who? To Dwayne Wade, but they played together, so it doesn't matter. You can actually tell.
He still plays.
Dwayne, no, he
retired like 4 or 5 years ago.
He was commentating on the Olympics.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he commentated like the last few games.
I think that LeBron going back to Cleveland was actually a good move for him and for Cleveland. And I think leaving Cleveland in the first place was also a good move for both of them.
He couldn't win there.
Because, 7 years? Yeah, it took Michael Jordan 7 years, but they were building a team. They didn't build any team with LeBron.
They gave him Mo Williams.
They had Mo Williams. They gave him and what's the name of the guy that that was bipolar and
Delonte West.
Why
West became homeless
his business all out to America? In the world. Would you say he had mental health problems or something?
I'm not the one who he confided in. I didn't get his confidential medical information. I got that from the news, by the way.
Lost facts, so that's crazy.
I got that from the news.
They told me that about this. They were like, hey, we ain't gonna tell nobody you broke unless you want us to tell them. I'm like, you can tell him.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Is it okay? Yeah.
That's funny. About to get sued up in here.
Yeah, they didn't do anything for him, and he took him to the finals. He single-handedly took them to the finals. Remember that game with Detroit? Like in 30 points in.
Yeah, he had like 48 that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had like 25 points straight.
Who was he? When I had to stop talking shit about LeBron, I remember like what I was doing in my life, but they were in the finals. I think I asked you about this, where they were down like 3 games to none.
Oh, yeah, that was against the Warriors.
And then he came back.
2016, yeah.
I used to go and get coffee
I cried
before work.
3 games to 1, yeah.
Dude, I would talk to the guy every day. He'd be like, they're coming back. I was like, there's no way they're going to win. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah,
every single day, it was one more. And then the last day when they won, I was like, I can never talk shit about LeBron again.
That was great.
It was him, and Kyrie picked up the slack in one of those games. I think the last game, maybe.
That's my goat.
Amazing.
We love LeBron.
Was it the last game that Kyrie picked up the slack?
No, it was the game before that.
The game before the last.
He had 41.
And on top of it, was it this same series that what's his name?
Draymond Green.
Draymond fucked up and got ejected, and he got suspended. And all that.
It was game. He got suspended game 5.
He didn't do him a favor.
There was always drama. Bad. I remember I never really watched a lot of the season when I was younger, when I used to watch basketball. But when the finals came, it was always like a soap opera. I didn't know what was going on.
They played each other like 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. 15, 16, 17, 18. They played each other.
Was it in a row?
Yeah. It was 15, 16, 17, 18. And you remember KD came the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They played each other 4 years in a row in the finals. Like, that's absurd.
That's true. Well, they're not gonna
So
play
have you
in the
ever done any
finals
kind
now.
of research on, is your voice deeper than Shine's? Your voice versus versus Shine versus Biggie.
Yeah.
And versus Gorilla Black.
Okay. You know, people always, like, now they always call me Pop Smoke.
Okay, I've heard of that dude, but I've never heard any of his music.
Yeah. He was like a New York guy. He died in 2020.
I remember that.
But like, that's like, so like growing up, before he was even famous, they would call me Allstate. The guy from the Allstate commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the guy from the Allstate commercial?
Like, he'd be like, Allstate, are you in good hands? Like,
The president.
The tall guy, yeah.
the black dude.
Dennis Hazelberg or something? He was the president.
Have you heard that story before?
Real
That was-
quick,
that
I
was
had a
my
theory.
dude. Yeah.
That dude played the president on a
think so, yeah,
famous
yeah,
show,
yeah,
was
yeah,
out
yeah.
for years. And I always said, jokingly, but
Yeah.
kind of not jokingly, because the show was real famous. I was like, if
Yeah.
it weren't for him, Obama never could have
Was it?
existed.
It was before or after?
Because he was the president and everyone accepted him
All
on this
right.
TV show.
So he kind of warmed up the
He warmed
situation.
up
warmed
the
it up.
Black
Yeah, he was
America.
like,
He like
you know
set
what?
it up. And then
That was
Obama
a bunch of,
came.
It was like, it's not that bad.
Obama
A
came
bunch
to
of
slip
people like
right in.
on the edge, you know. Obama is okay,
I'm
but he's
telling
black.
you.
I don't know about that.
telling
Yeah,
you.
but did you
I
see?
gotta look into that, man.
Because I remember when the TV show was
Yeah,
on,
but
my
did you
sister
see
and I
the
used to
Allstate
watch
guy?
it.
Yeah. Like, nah. Like,
If you
Obama
ever
should be
watched-
thanking him
That's
for
what
white
I'm saying.
America. Like,
That's what I'm
oh,
saying.
man.
Because he warmed it up. My
I can
sister and I would
appreciate
talk
that.
about that. I
There
was like,
should
if it
be.
weren't for him,
Because
there
that
wouldn't be
was
him.
a thing, like, people had to get used to. They like, hold on,
Yeah.
black. Like, what
And
does that
he
mean?
Because
Like, black
dude, the
president.
show
Can you
was
imagine?
dramatic, but it was believable. He was just as
Yeah.
powerful, looked good, and
They
everything.
like, oh
Everyone
wait,
liked
they
him.
can actually do
What's
a good
next?
job.
A woman?
What's next, a woman?
I know. Dude, I watched the
Oh, my
debate, and
God.
it was something else. It was some drama.
Oh man, I gotta watch that.
What's next to
I
woman?
don't know what
That's
show
funny.
it is, but I can't remember
Jesus
the
Christ.
Yeah,
name of the
it was
show,
a
but I
big
know
show.
the guy you're talking about.
I gotta
It was a
watch
big
that.
show. This is around the-
That's my big homie. That's what they used to say.
Dude, Dennis
man.
Hazelberg or something like that is his
Yeah,
name.
that's my big homie.
Shit.
They used to say, that was my name for like
I
3
can't
years.
remember the name of the show. Not West Wing. That was the white dude was president on that
Okay.
show. Yeah, just put
No,
him
it's
in,
not West Wing.
IMDb.
All right,
Check
got
him
you.
up.
Yeah,
'Cause it was
okay.
good. It was dramatic. Oh, was it?
I'm gonna be like Allstate guy, and I'm gonna sit there.
Oh, for sure. If you go Allstate guy, you're gonna. You got your phone in front of you.
I know.
Mine is
I'm
filming.
gonna find it. I'm gonna do a little research.
Okay. There you go.
What's the?
Oh, Pop Smoke. Last thing, I'm sorry. Pop Smoke had a deep voice too.
Well, yeah, I mean, like his rapping voice was like, I guess, deep, but his regular talking voice was like wasn't as deep as mine.
Okay, I heard
Yeah.
that.
People
His
do
voice
that.
was
People do
different.
that.
Yeah, his voice, his talking voice was just super New York, like
Okay.
kind of like hard New York, but like that's what people just call me though.
What was your music like compared to Pop Smoke's? Because you told me you did
Oh,
music
yeah.
work. You can shout yourself out if you want. I'm just saying.
Is there anything we need to hide, or
No.
or is
Do I need to put a
Don't show
beat
that,
on
no.
real quick? I'll start beatboxing up here.
No. You know,
See what's out there.
I went through my rapping phase because that's just like an LA staple. Like every dude got to have at least 2 rap songs.
I need to move faster.
Man, you passed your prime, bro. You're gonna be 60. You're rapping out
If
there.
you don't got 2 rap songs as an LA dude, you're not from LA. Like, you feel me?
all right,
So that was just I had to get that out of my system and went full fighting.
That's dope though.
Facts.
You're gonna be able to be like, dude, I got a couple rap songs. I
Yeah,
got
I
some
was
fights.
Bare knuckle, you feel me?
No telling what's next.
I might be the new Allstate guy. You feel me?
Some politics.
Come on, you feel me?
They might go back to this clip when you run for president in
Yeah,
2040.
yeah, exactly. Be like, oh, well, he did say it. He been warmed up for it. You feel me? Like, facts.
Speaking of mystical stuff,
Yeah.
Conor McGregor owns part of Bare Knuckle Fight
Yes,
Club.
sir.
What about if he wanted to fight you for your third fight?
Oh, I'll fight. Yeah, I'm getting out there. I love that's my MMA goal.
Don't tell him that.
Oh, my bad.
You know how you get LeBron. First he headed on LeBron, but he came around.
Yeah.
It's different.
He's not coming around on Connor. I don't know why.
Hey, you had to take a breath on
I
that.
don't know why. To me,
My hands broke. I'm like, oh.
A big reason why people make money in fighting nowadays is Conor.
Dude,
the moniker.
look, okay.
And the big reason women make money in fighting is Ronda.
Right.
Although everybody fucking hates
Even
her.
though she kind of...
Yeah. They say she's a horrible
but
person,
she's not.
I was around her for a second, and she was sweet.
Yeah.
It was at Verdum's.
Okay.
For a practice.
She was solid.
But I get why people don't like her. But I think she's probably way cooler.
Yeah.
She's just tired of, she kind of acted crazy at the end of her UFC career.
Yeah.
With the whole Amanda fight, not shaking people's hands and not doing whatever. But Conor 100% changed the game.
He did.
The thing about Conor is for all the good that he did, now he's become such a shell of that that it's kind of like, it doesn't really take away from that, but it just takes away from him to me. I'm just like...
I feel like he made so much money, he like, wait, I don't got to fight no more.
Of course, but I mean, it's just the shenanigans. And look, he's living a good life. I will say he changed the game, and there was a time when I was super inspired by him because some of the stuff that he said. Believe in yourself. You gotta believe. And I'm like, a lot of times people make that shit sound corny, but he was living it. I mean, he was like, I visualize this shit I visualize it, and then I walk into my reality
with that strong accent,
and I'm watching it happen. That was magical. But that was back when Obama was president. I'm exaggerating.
Back to Obama.
I'm exaggerating.
That is the time, though. No, it's not.
That was like 2014.
He's had one win since Obama was president. He's had one win since Obama was president.
But look, I'm looking at 2012 to 2017 Conor.
Magical. I remember his first fight. I remember him against Dennis Seaver. Dude,
Conor, that's
him
really
against
my goal.
Max Holloway. He was not losing.
That second fight against Nate Diaz, because like that first one was like a fluke. That second fight against Nate Diaz, he was like, "Oh, you're not on my level," and he showed him. He said, "This dude's not on my level."
Wait a minute. I gotta disagree here about the first fight.
He was overwhelmed because he was so much smaller.
Are you talking when he got choked out?
Yeah, that was like a fluke.
He got tired because
he got tired. He made a bad shot. He
made a bad shot because he got hit.
It just
he did get, but
he got tired.
Nate and Conor is like this,
right? Nate was
like
Conor was used to knocking people out.
Conor is a better fighter than Nate. Nate might have
the size difference. He couldn't knock out.
Yeah, Conor like 6. I mean, not Nate like 6'1" or something.
I heard him say he was like after 4 of his baddest shots, 4 or 5, his power was like, and he was like the dude kept coming. But whereas no one else in his weight could withstand that.
Dudes like Nate Diaz, when they kind of like messed up in the head and kind of like a little on the spectrum, you got to be careful fighting dudes.
He's never
like
been knocked out, but I don't know if he's ever been
dudes.
squarely hit by somebody with a lot of power either.
But that second fight, what Conor do to him?
And Conor wasn't getting hit a lot either.
He didn't get hit till like really like the last 3 fights.
Okay, I have to admit this.
Conor
saw how he lost the first time, and then fought a different fight.
And
it was like he figured out. Okay,
that leg was like this big.
I can't get tired. I've got to do this. I've got to have this dude check. I can't get taken down. And he
dropped Nate like twice that fight too.
He did. But the first one, I didn't see it as a fluke. Just because of that, I didn't see it as a fluke. I'm sorry.
I saw it as him thinking, because he was like, I'll fight you at 200 pounds. I'll fight you at 210.
He gassed out. He made a bad decision.
He bit off more than he could chew.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like he did that more with Khabib than Nate.
That fight had to happen with Khabib. That was
he wasn't going to beat
inevitable.
Khabib.
But yeah.
And Khabib, the crazy thing about Khabib, people might be mad. He's not really that skilled to me.
As a boxer, no.
Like as a striker in general,
he's not.
Islam is way better than
him. When Khabib knocked Conor down with that jumping underhook thing that he does.
I'm like, this is crazy.
He went.
Conor was like, that was the only thing that really hurt my heart.
That would be hurt. Like, come on, this is fake,
bro. The funny thing is how it happened. Yeah, it was like a jumping. It was almost like an overhead, but it wasn't.
Something
it was
that he would do a lot. It was like a jumping.
It's because he went. He dove. And Conor thought it was a
takedown
was coming.
He hit him,
and he dropped his hands. And when he dropped his hands, that was obviously planned. He hit him, he dropped him. That was hilarious because you don't drop Conor for nothing. You know?
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's my MMA goat though. A lot of people don't like Conor, but that's my goat, and that's my boss.
Wow.
And I'll fight him for the money, and I'll just go out there and just get beat up.
You should have just said. You shouldn't have said because it's my boss. Oh, you didn't say because it's my boss.
That's my boss too. Like, you feel me? Conor cool. It's a guy in bare knuckle right now. He fought Conor in UFC. He just got to bare knuckle. He's trying to fight Conor again.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Jeremy Stevens.
Yeah.
He's like, you know who the fuck I am. He wore that shirt. Remember, he was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Who the fuck is this guy?
I didn't see that
I'll
fight.
fight that guy. I get out there with
He
that
didn't.
dude. And he fought like a scrub.
It's a different. I can't really judge people's bare knuckle because it's such a different sport.
The thing I noticed about bare knuckle, like, because I don't know if you guys really see me spar too much. Okay, I know you guys do more jiu-jitsu classes, but everybody will tell you, like, I'm like really good at slipping. And I was doing it in that fight. Even I was slipping the bare knuckle punches. So that's like my style. So you can't sit in the pocket and swing in bare knuckle. It's just impossible. You're gonna get cut or you're gonna get knocked out. So like if you're trying to like and like that's my style. It's no excuse. I feel like I did good that second fight and I showed like my skill set. But if you a guy that kind of sits there and slips and use a Philly shell, use distance framing, angling out, you can still get clipped regardless. And it's like that's like the biggest difference I've noticed.
That's the biggest difference between that and like just straight
regular boxing, regular anything with gloves. Like you can't stand there and bang at all. And I could stand there and bang with guys and I didn't. Like my last sparring day at Wildcard, I sparred a dude. He was 13-0, had 13 knockouts. A Hispanic dude from San Diego. The first 2 rounds, I did good. The last round, he put it on me. And I was just like, well, at least I know I can stand there and bang with guys like that. And he was 180.
Boxing gloves.
Yeah. And I was standing there. He 13-0, 13 knockouts. And I only had one bare knuckle pro boxing match.
Right.
And I'm like, I know I can stand there and bang, but you get in bare knuckle, you can't do that at all. It's just.
Right. You have to stick and
shots
move.
are going through.
Yeah, it's going through you. Even when I was shelling up by habit,
I saw that. Yeah,
he was still going through it. He was a wiry guy too, so he was hitting me from 2 feet away. You feel me? So,
what about what is the rule on not clinching but dirty boxing?
Okay, so think about dirty boxing. You could clinch with one arm and you could swing. So as long as you active with that secondary arm, you could go 3
So
minutes.
dirty boxing is allowed.
Yeah, I see.
That's pretty cool.
Some guys like the guys that not are high level skill wise, they're just sit in the pocket and just bar fight it out. You feel me? So yeah,
like Don Fry against that dude.
Yeah, bar fight it out. Yeah. So like, as long as you active, they're not gonna break it.
That's pretty cool.
Daniel
though.
Cormier's style was very much.
Randy Couture did that too.
Yeah, they would clinch in MMA. Obviously,
That's not my style. I'm
They
not
would
like a
clinch
dirty
and
boxer
go.
type guy though.
You're
So, like,
more of a distance fighter.
I'm like a real distance, like distance, and I'm like a real like counter, like slip counter type fighter. And that's why I was doing a lot of Muay Thai. A lot of Muay Thai guys on the circuit I was on, they weren't really too boxing savvy. It was super traditional. So if you like a really, really good boxer, you could kind of like have success in like the lower level Muay Thai scene. That's from what I've noticed.
Do you still have any more like Muay Thai fights in you think?
I'm gonna go MMA when I come back.
I was gonna ask you that. Are you planning on doing MMA?
Yeah, so I'll be back. I should be healed by November. Probably go up next with the thing Byron did, the champ of the gym, Byron. Shout out Byron, my boy. I'll probably go MMA. They let me go.
Have you ever seen Jorge Masvidal's promotion? It's bare knuckle MMA.
Yeah.
I ain't seen
It's
that
kind of
one,
interesting.
I wouldn't do that though.
Yeah,
You don't want to be on the ground getting beat. Bare knuckle.
Dude,
That's kind of crazy.
It's interesting. It's totally different, and I won't even say that it's like it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
But it was interesting watching it because it was so different than traditional MMA.
They used to do the Vale Tudo like that. The MMA in the 90s was kind of like,
a little more brutal.
yeah. But
early 90s before UFC.
I
gotta get with you guys more with the ground game. I gotta get some more ground game, man.
For
with you
MMA,
guys.
for sure. Yeah.
Definitely get in the ground game some more. That's gonna be my weakness for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you might want to develop like a really good takedown defense.
Takedown defense with the
That's what Chuck Liddell did. Randy Couture beat him up the first time, and then he was just like learned how not to get taken down, and then he beat the shit out of Randy Couture the next 2 times. It was crazy.
Randy Couture is a good fighter too.
Randy Couture was the man. This is back when he was old then, but he was still the man. He was a champion. And he was definitely better than.
I don't know that. I mean, I think it's important that you have a good ground game. But
I think you should know
I
you should be comfortable on the ground. 100%.
You should be comfortable.
I feel like defensive wise, I
should be
I
comfortable
would know where I'm at.
getting up too.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, nowadays the way it's played nowadays, I would say that's a big difference from like even 10 years ago. If you watch MMA from back then, or even more so a difference. When jiu-jitsu was reigning, basically you would look at people get taken down, or even sometimes voluntarily go to their butts.
And then try to submit a guy,
and then try to actually.
I feel like Oliveira does that a lot, huh? I feel like he's done that a couple times. Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does. I mean, his
He's-
jiu-jitsu is great, but he's also very good on top, and he's very good at getting up.
On his back and everything.
And he's one of those
yeah.
very very few people that are still really good at jiu-jitsu.
I think he's the highest.
Yeah.
I think is the
For sure.
right now he's the best.
For sure. And I think he's not gonna be champion
jiu-jitsu,
again.
Yeah.
His
I
time
don't-
is,
yeah, I
his
don't
time has
think
come and
so
gone.
either. But I think that nowadays it's more important that you actually either are able to stop the takedown, you know, or which, by the way,
Which
back
is
to
popular.
Conor McGregor and Khabib, I think that Conor did a great job for
Of
a
course.
while.
For like
Of
2 rounds.
course.
It was
For
like
2 rounds,
yeah,
he
for
did a
2
great
rounds,
job.
yeah.
I actually analyzed in
Always
a
watch that
video
fight.
one of his takedown defenses. It took about more than 30 seconds for Khabib with
For real?
to take. Yeah,
And
about-
Khabib is
And
world
Khabib was
class, best in the world.
dominant.
Yes.
He's world class,
He
best
did
in the
the
world.
same
yeah.
the
thing
one
to
mistake
everybody.
the one mistake I'll shoot you guys the video after that.
Yeah, let me
that
see,
I made.
yeah.
The one mistake that I think Conor made was Conor was defending that takedown. It was a single leg. He switched to a double. It was a chain wrestling. Conor was defending very well, and then he felt comfortable for a second, and he started. Khabib was on his leg, and Conor started hammer fisting him in the head. And when you do that, and you're not involving your hand to actually
Right.
frame on the other guy, or to defend the takedown, which should be
Yeah.
your priority right now against
And
a
that's
guy
not
like
even-
Khabib.
you don't have a lot of power.
You don't have.
Yeah,
and
from
you
right
lose
here,
your.
yeah.
Look, what happens is you lose your balance any way you go.
Right.
you're
Especially
down.
against a guy
And that's
like
exactly,
Khabib.
yes,
course.
yes, yeah.
You can't
And that's
make
exactly
no
what
mistake.
happened.
You can't make no mistakes against guys
That's
like
what
that.
happened. He
You
got
could eat a
taken
couple
down,
of
and then
those.
from there on it was downhill.
That's why I like Islam a lot, because he could bang with you.
Islam is talented.
He could
You're gonna,
bang.
if you like
Yeah.
Islam, you're gonna
Umar.
like Umar.
He's Bellator.
Nurmagomedov.
Oh,
He's
yeah, that's
their
his cousin, right? Yeah, I know him. Yeah,
They're trying
yeah,
to go.
yeah.
They're trying to go. Their goal is to go 100 and 100 no, or 100 no between
Between all of them.
Islam.
Somebody gonna have to win like 40 fights then.
They're at
Yeah.
65, I think.
I mean, his brother
Okay.
fights too, Usman.
And they all got the same beard and stuff.
Yeah.
They're sharing a beer. Legend has it.
Yeah, they got the
They're
same
serious
thing.
business, dude. They don't mess around.
Yeah, nah, Usman is nice though.
Yeah.
I think he like 17-0 in Bellator or something, like 18-0.
Usman, yeah.
I watched him because he's like 5'10". He's my height. I only watch guys that's my size.
Okay.
So I only watch like boxing. I watch Shakur. Tank is a little small.
Why
He's
is
like
that?
5'5".
Why don't you? Is it no interest in watching anyone else, or is it?
I don't know. I just like to see guys that could like match up against guys. Cause 5'9" is a weird size and
What do you
fighting.
weigh?
155. So 5'9" is a weird size because most of the guys are either shorter or taller than me. It's never guys. I never fought a guy that was my height. He's always like 5'11",
Okay.
5'7". You feel me? So that's why I always watch guys that's 5'9" just to see how they react to different fighters. You feel me?
Okay.
So that's why I love Conor so much. And he's southpaw. Even though I'm right-handed, he's southpaw. Gervonta's southpaw. Shakur's southpaw.
Okay.
You feel me? Usman, he switches a lot.
Yeah.
You feel me? And Leon switches a lot too. But Leon, he's a little taller. But I like Leon. He's a good fighter.
He had a bad fight.
He's not as
did
aggressive as I would like. He's like as far as aggressive fighters,
just
but he's
fought
real
different.
finesse.
Yeah,
he's real finesse fighter.
It just didn't
Yeah.
look like he was feeling
Yeah.
it. Like Gilbert this past week. I don't know if you saw Gilbert Burns against Sean Brady.
I did not watch the card. I was
Dude,
busy watching Polaris after work.
He just looked like he couldn't get it going. Sean
Yeah.
Brady like ragdolled him.
That's crazy. I like one a lot too. The one championship of guys is high.
Oh man, did you watch it this weekend?
Yeah, I did.
How about Jonathan Haggerty?
And this thing doesn't get
That
boring,
broke my
I'm telling you.
heart.
I know. It
That was
was pretty
crazy.
sad.
I was like,
I just don't think he was ready for that fight. It seemed like he wasn't ready or something. Like I don't know. Like
Super like said he
How
was
did you feel?
practicing
I
that.
thought he got caught, man.
he got caught
He got-
crazy.
he
with
got-
I
the
don't know
elbows.
that he wasn't ready. I think he was ready. He was in Denver longer than we were talking about that last
We
time.
were talking
he
about-
was in
he
Denver.
got knocked
for
out
his
in the first
camp
second.
Longer than Super Leg. Super Leg arrived there like a week before.
It was
But
over
them
in like
Thai guys, it's like them dudes been doing that stuff so long. It's like they had
he has
history
like
with
I mean,
something.
he has like
217.
150, yeah.
He has 200 and
Yeah.
something fights.
Super
That was his 210th win, I think.
Like imagine fighting
something
200
like that.
times. Like imagine fighting that many times.
I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Haggerty is a really good fighter though.
Haggerty's-
I like.
He had two
Amazing.
belts.
But
He
you know
lost
who I
one of
watch
his
him
belts.
one?
He's still a champion.
I watch Tawanchai because he's 5'9" and he's southpaw.
Okay.
I always
Who's
look
that?
at Tawanchai.
Oh yeah.
He's a champion for 155. Yeah,
Is that
he broke the guy's arm. The guy blocked it and he broke the dude's arm. He kicked him. The dude blocked it like this, like a real technical block, and he broke his arm.
damn?
You seen that?
No.
He threw a roundhouse. The guy blocked it, broke his arm. He quit. He was like, I'm done. Broke his arm.
Forearm.
Yeah, broke his forearm. It was crazy.
The Mikey Musumeci fight. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, he got
He was supposed to fight Rutolo.
He was supposed to fight 170, right? And then he dropped to 135.
He was going to fight Rutolo in like an open weight match.
Yeah.
Rutolo dropped out because he was hurt at CGI.
And he had to drop that weight.
And then they brought someone in to fight him for the title, and he had to drop down to hit that weight class.
Yeah, but I think he missed weight by like 5 pounds, 6 pounds.
But then I went on Instagram. This was crazy. He's in the hospital. He had a tear on his lung.
Oh my goodness!
It's some kind of condition. It's a long-sounding condition, whatever. But it's like a tear on his lung, and he got it from diaphragmatic breathing, like the Hickson thing.
Yeah.
So that
Hickson
happened,
Gracie, yeah.
and he said,
"What is that like when you were like in?
When
like you go like this,
you suck your, and it just goes all
it's
the way
weird
in.
way
It's
to
so
breathe.
strange.
When you look
looking.
at it, it's pretty.
But
freaky.
they said if he would have fought,
Probably would have died, huh?
he said the doctor was like, "There's a good chance he could have died."
That's
And he was already probably
championship
debilitated from the
From
tear
going up and down.
and the weight.
That's
Dude, he
crazy.
lost he got pretty close.
Wasn't one championship about not cutting weight and stuff?
Well,
like
that's
Yeah,
why he
yeah,
didn't
that's
do
what-
it because
yeah,
they
that's
took
like their whole
took a
thing.
hydration test
That's their
and
whole
he failed the
thing.
hydration
okay, I
test.
see what happened. Okay,
Yep.
but to me, it's like, why would they even,
That was
suggest
weird.
he
Why would
do
they-
it? Yeah, that's a big drop, man.
He was supposed to fight old boy at an open weight.
They said it was supposed to be at 170.
and he
It
got
was supposed to-
stripped
yeah, it
of
was
his
like a
title.
catch weight 170.
Why would you force him
Yeah.
into that and strip him if he was going to try to put on a show? I don't understand that.
Yeah,
That's
one
crazy.
one is different. Them dudes, like them Muay Thai dudes, man. Like I respect them to the highest level.
Dude, those
man.
dudes are badass.
Them dudes on
what's that
another
one
level.
dude? He fought Demetrius Johnson, who retired.
Oh,
on air.
the dude,
Yeah,
the dude,
Su-
when he need him on the ground. Oh, you talking about Rotang?
Rotang.
Yeah.
He's another one that's crazy.
He like 5'6".
He's so intense.
Yeah, Rotang is crazy.
Those dudes like make themselves into characters.
Yeah, they do.
Like
They do.
Superlek.
Yeah.
His name is the man who yields to no one.
Yeah.
That's his like nickname. I was
Who
like,
knows?
that's
It
hard.
probably in Thai that's probably like 2 syllables, and it
Facts.
just makes sense. In
Oh,
English,
man.
it's like
It's probably like
man who yields to
untook.
no one. It's,
Facts. You know what I mean?
The man who yields to no one.
Facts. That's
And
hard. I
he's-
like that. That's hard.
He's
though,
so
man.
smiley, and he was just so happy. He won like a $50,000.
I like how them dudes carry themselves too. They
Man,
carry
they're
themselves with like a lot
so
of respect.
sweethearts.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
carry
it,
themselves with a lot of respect.
and then Shantry got his black belt on air live.
Yeah, yeah.
Henzo.
Is
I know.
he legit?
I've never seen him roll,
Oh.
but I
He
mean,
Says he's been
doing
rolling
it
for a long time.
He said that whenever he travels, he makes it a
He said
thing to
he
go
rolled
to
into
the local gym and train.
the Blue Basement. He started like in 2000 and
2007
something.
or 6. Yeah,
And he said he got his brown belt 3 years ago.
Okay.
yeah.
And then Henzo, dude, I love Henzo. Henzo is probably my favorite jiu-jitsu personality of all
Really?
time.
Who's yours?
I mean, I don't know. I don't have a one person that I'm like.
He,
very much
Henzo's
into.
not like a real person to me. He's like more of like a
A fictional.
right. He's like a
larger than
superhero.
life, yeah.
That's why he's like. I mean, I love
I
Hickson.
don't have that kind of, I don't Hickson. No, I'm not.
Hickson is even more of like a fictional character with the 300
He's,
wins.
he's a
but he
mystical creature.
He was the
Mythical
real
creature, I should
deal
say.
when he was like, like growing up. That fight with Zulu, I heard him say after that first round, and this surprised me. He said after the first round, he was like, I wasn't gonna go back out. He said he was all like, he was super tired. And he told Elio, he was like, I'm not going back out. And Elio was like, you're fine. You got him beat. But you got to go back out. And he was like, he was super scared. And he was like, Elio was like, go back out. He went back out and then choked him out.
What is that? That fight is savage. Watch it. Hickson Gracie versus Zulu. I'll find it on YouTube. I'll
Okay.
send
Yeah,
it.
It's
send it to me.
intense.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it's crazy.
It's young Hickson.
We're talking. What
like
year was that?
18 it's like
89, 90?
Hickson, it was before that.
No,
Hickson was like 18 years old.
really.
Yes.
Shit. Really, I didn't know that. But it's like very
It's
much
in a
all just
ring
MMA.
in Brazil.
I wouldn't do that.
It's madness.
Okay.
Did you do you know the story around that time? I think Henzo was telling that story.
The riot.
The riot. One of the Gracies was fighting somebody.
It was
and
Henzo was fighting somebody. It was a Luda Libre guy.
Yeah, Luda
and then
Libre
they were
guy.
in the corner
on ropes.
on ropes.
On ropes.
And that dude, the other dude's homeboys are right here, and they start doing. They
Yeah.
kept doing it, and it happened more than
So
once.
the guy has hands on the ground under the ropes. You know how they fight MMA in the ropes, and you're like this, and then the rope is on top of you, and then the ref is pulling the rope up so it doesn't strangle you.
Okay.
And fucking guy from, like
His
one of
whole,
his
like-
buddies starts
Like in the
Because
crowd?
it's jiu-jitsu versus Luda Libre. And the Little Libre guys, his people just happened to be right there. And they were like hitting him or something.
Hitting him and stuff. And it becomes
That's
a big
great.
thing.
That's like a
You know what the
Dude.
solution was? They turned the electricity off in there.
Well, okay, in my story, Henzo was
That's
like,
what I know.
He kicked the dude. He was
What?
like, because it kept happening. So the next time he was over there, he kicked somebody, and then that started a riot. And then chairs started getting thrown. And
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
the
yeah.
power,
This like
the
The
Power
power
went
went out, but I don't know.
Because I
That's
think it
what
was
I've
a
heard.
super long fight too.
Yeah, it was one of those no limit fucking
Dude, he's
dead
a
or
freaking
alive
monster.
thing.
Dead or
He's
That's how bare knuckle.
and this is
feels sometimes.
Brazil. Brazil,
They used to
Brazil
fight.
is
They
something
used to
else.
fight like that, man. They used to fight like, you know, the history of boxing. We were talking about that was obviously bare knuckle.
Yeah.
You ever read that? How it started in England and all these places.
Oh,
And-
with the
Yeah, I heard
weird.
a little bit, yeah.
yeah, but I mean,
Ireland and all
they
them
would
guys,
they would
yeah.
do that. They would do that with what was it? With rounds, but no limit to how many rounds. it
Oh, I
was.
did hear
Yeah,
that.
Till
yeah.
somebody
It
loses.
would be
or-
like 100 rounds.
Until somebody gives up.
Yeah, yeah,
Really,
yeah.
they would see people there like dragging themselves. There's
Yeah.
knockouts, knockdowns, you know. But the thing is that if you get knocked out, if you're able to come back within, you know, like to get up and fight, it's fine, you know, as long
fight
as
to the
you're.
death.
Did you
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
see Letway?
Yeah.
Letway is like that too. There's fights where people get knocked out, they wake you up and put you back in the fight.
No way.
Yes,
fight-
but the headbutts
they
are
put
allowed.
ropes instead of
It's
gloves.
kind of
Have you
tough
seen that
looking
shit?
at it.
The Burmese, is it the
Yeah.
Burmese? No.
It's somewhere.
They do
over
that in
there.
Mexico. Like they tie the rope. It's like a variation of bare knuckle. Like,
They tie a
They
rope on?
tie ropes around you in Mexico and they fight like it's like bare knuckle Muay Thai.
Yeah, cartel
Yeah.
cockfights with humans.
Exactly. Oh, man. They fight. They really fight for
better than
like
yours.
territory. Like if he win, we got this. Oh, man.
It ain't even pink
Oh,
slips.
man.
It's land deeds.
Oh man, we got all this. We got this whole farm right here. Oh,
And
man.
all their daughters too. It was like, oh my gosh, I better win.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, that reminds me of we're gonna cut this. We're gonna end this here in a second.
Yeah.
I worked at a place, and there was a Russian girl that worked there.
Yeah.
And she was telling me the town that she's from, they don't really do this anymore. She was like, I'm not really worried about this anymore, but like up to like 20 years ago, and for a long time before that,
Yeah.
you would like if someone wanted a wife, they would run up in that town, and you would, if you could get to the girl, if you could get to someone's daughter, as in get to them and like take them, then it was legal for you to marry them.
Well,
Crazy.
how
I
help
think-
me figure this out. So
Because she just came back from visiting Russia.
Right.
This was right after Russia, the whole
Christ.
Ukraine thing.
Yeah.
Because I was like kind of probing about that. I was just asking her what she thought
So
about
it was like small towns on the side or like the main
super
city?
small, like
It's
village
a big
type
country,
things.
You know, they have different shit
Yeah.
going on in each
Yeah.
place of the
Jesus Christ.
country.
Like
but,
out in the, like-
But how? What do you mean? She's there and then they just like it's like organized. Like you and me and him, we just line
Like
up
if you
and whoever gets there first.
if you kidnap somebody's, if you see a girl,
Oh,
and
so
you
it's
take
not-
the
oh.
daughter, and if you can get her to get her
So
away from her
was it-
dad
was
and
it-
brothers.
It's like a video game basically.
I mean,
A little cruel, but
it was.
still.
I was
damn,
kind of
it's
like,
like
what?
real life, huh?
There's
Real
an end
life.
goal there.
Real life. I was like, nah. She's
So
like,
imagine
yeah.
that you walk about, he's like, I want her, and he just full speed
Yep.
sprint. That's crazy.
Dude, I'm not surprised, man. There's places in the world there is still slavery. There's stoning and stuff like this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not surprised this exists.
So me, internet kind of woke up a lot of people up as far as like stuff that be going on.
True.
Dude, for real, dark web. I've been
You'd be
on.
like, well, I never knew that would happen.
It's scary.
Yeah. For
There's
real,
some scary
for real.
stuff. For
Yeah.
real.
Okay.
Let's call it, guys.
Yes, sir.
Before we get into something
Before
dark,
we get into something dark and
Some
start
dark
talking
web.
about
Monetize us.
animals fighting humans and stuff, we do that. Let me ask you this last
Yes,
question.
sir.
Last
Yes,
question.
sir.
Last question. What is your what animal do you think beats every other animal? You know, in a fight.
Any feline. Any big cat, small cat, I'm taking big cats over anything.
Over bears.
Yeah.
bears are pretty.
I mean, well, yeah, it depends on the scenario. You know, fighting is very situational.
Okay.
So if a big
Did you ever see the
cat,
cat? There was
yeah.
like a jaguar jumped in the water and got a crocodile.
Yeah.
Came out you could see.
Any big
He
cat,
came out with it in
yeah.
his mouth. I was like, that's hard.
Or look,
And drag them up a
and you
tree.
know,
He drug him up. It was like a bank.
you know
That's-
about, you
that's
know
a
another
buffalo right
answer,
there. What's that?
a big bad wolf.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Let me ask you this: the scenario is they're in the cage. They're in the cage. There is
Yes,
no
sir.
because you can say, I mean, obviously if they're on a like, depending on the environment, right? But
Yes,
they're in
sir.
the cage. There is no trees. There is no water. You put a bear. Since he and I kind of agree on the bear thing.
Okay.
But you put
Polar
the
bears are
whichever
big and
cat you
gnarly.
want.
Yeah, polar bears are
I don't
big.
know, though,
Those
if
like
you-
the most vicious ones, I think.
They can smell you from a mile away, and they can
Yeah.
run faster than you. That's all you got to tell me. That's scary.
Yeah.
That means they're coming for you.
They said those are like they like really like natural predators. Like they
That's
kill
that's
for no
what they
reason.
do.
Like they kill for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I was thinking like those primate. There's some primates that are pretty gnarly, like
But
gorillas.
you know, lions and stuff can climb up trees and stay tough off trees.
But
and
imagine them
stuff,
in a
yeah.
cage though. Even if I'm saying a bear against like a.
But that lion might jump out the. Yeah, I don't know.
No, we're talking about obviously, yeah. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that a polar bear can jump over this thing
Yeah.
if it.
Might take a little more time.
Comes
Well,
up.
no, they can't jump
Definitely.
out. They have to fight in the cage.
That's the thing. That's the
So we're
thing.
gonna put a lid on it.
So
with like
okay, a
electric
polar
fence.
bear or a lion?
Or
Well, I'm gonna say a tiger, 'cause tigers are
tigers
bigger
are
than-
bigger, yeah. And tigers should be better at fighting because they fight alone. So you would.
I'm gonna go with my feline partners on me.
If I could pick one out of history, I'd pick a saber-toothed tiger.
They were small, bro.
But they could move real fast laterally.
Yeah, I mean, so can cats at home, you know.
Well, I'm just saying versus a bear in a cage.
Oh man,
I mean-
that thing might be compromising that thing. Huh? Oh man.
Who's gonna last long? I'm thinking
And we
the
got
cat is
the
gonna run away
saber
very
tooth. We got
fast
two
from.
blades.
No, yeah, I mean, to the death.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll
That was fun.
agree to disagree on this one.
I agree to disagree.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Richard, for
Yes,
joining
sir,
us,
I
man.
appreciate
That was a
you guys.
pleasure. We're gonna bring you
Pleasure
back
was
and hear
always-
about
sir.
that next step.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
back.
I want you to heal up and
Yes,
then
sir.
go get your win, and then we'll bring you back.
I appreciate that. It's all the origin story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all it is. You know, I appreciate you guys for having me though.
It was
All
a
right, man.
pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
my man.